Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Covenant Live, our weekly live stream. I was about to say Monday, but it's now on Wednesday at noon. So if you're catching us live, you figured it out. Thank you so much for being here. We are doing things a little bit differently today. It's a concept we've talked about for a long time and had never quite implemented. But today we're going to be having a more active discussion with all of you out there in the chat bubble.
We finally got the memo from our wives to pay more attention. To the other people in the room.
We've talked about this a lot. So what's the strength of a live streaming format? A lot of the stuff that we do live, we could just as easily record and release. And the YouTube algorithm would like it more, and we would be able to do multiple takes. Although, to be honest, we almost never do, which is maybe not the best way to produce videos, but it's how we do it.
We're probably at like 99.5% of the time in one take.
Uh-huh. Now, that said...
we're just that good.
We're just obviously
clearly
it's just
our content is just perfect
skill. So the strength of a live format is you actually can engage with an audience. Oh, I'm seeing my thumb on that monitor. I almost cut my thumb off there with
What's up with your thumb?
I cut it with a knife. Sorry, I was slicing tomato. Get in there and look at it though. There's like a scab. It's like healing underneath, and it's pushing the.
It reminds me way back. This is
it's not good. I nearly passed out on that one.
Decade ago. When you had the blister on your, was it like your hand?
Yeah, it was when I filled up a super hot teapot over the.
It was
the sink.
Most insane blister ever. Was that? Did you have crutches at the time too?
No, that was a different injury. I don't know. It could have been at the same time. I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm sorry to sense a trend.
Well, that was back when I couldn't afford health care, so I didn't go to the doctor. All that to say, we're having a discussion about the thing that I've heard, throughout the past week or so, which is the Magic. It's the biggest card game in our orbit. I would say the Magic bans, Commander bans on cards.
I know when I'm hearing about Magic, something is happening.
That's why we're talking about it. So I guess it's one part maybe.
I like curate my algorithms right to like not show Magic stuff just as a person.
I like some of the Magic stuff. I like the Ristic Studies stuff. And I like...
You shared some videos recently. I did watch. It was
I like the history stuff.
So they're kids?
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Just kind of like the history of different various points in Magic. It's really cool to see, by the way.
When it's enough noise that I notice it, I know something notable has happened.
Yeah. And so that's what we're going to try to, like, on the live streams, we're going to try to figure out what is the noisiest thing and then talk about it. Maybe it's a Jonathan's genius plan to get paid and get in the algorithm to get more viewers. Although we decided yesterday that we really don't care about that. We put it on the board even. We don't care about the viewers. We love you. I mean, we're glad you're here. I mean, we care about you personally.
We love these viewers.
You, the viewers, we love. All of you watching it. We don't care about going out into the deep reaches of YouTube and building the channel up to any kind of big view. But we do have some content that we think is going to do that.
Maybe 57,000 people is enough.
That is enough. Thank you, Jonathan, for that. When is success enough, you know?
At this point, we need to get 58,000 just so I can mentally get over the
Can we
the
get
pain.
a quick refresh? We're working on a series. I think we're officially doing that, right? Jonathan, are we officially doing that?
That's right.
And that one is designed to actually get people interested. That is the go out to people who you're not reaching and get them in.
It's also the refined produced. We've been trying to get back to produce video for a while. We've been doing different attempts, and we're still exploring some. There's a lot of exploration going on, but the pandemic hit, and we started streaming 5 days a week, and produced content disappeared. But I think when you do something produced, it can just be more meaningful, more thoughtful.
Takes longer. You can shoot it more than once.
Hopefully not a lot of that, but some of
clips
it,
in.
Yeah, I mean, you can just make it more engaging. People that are really familiar with us or into the things that we're into might be interested in hanging out here, listening and watching and engaging for a long time.
This is for you.
But if we're wanting to ultimately help grow the communities around the games that we love, it's got to reach other people. And so trying to be very intentional about how that would happen without falling into the data-driven death algorithm, maximize. Eventually you just start doing very degenerative things to show up in people's feed. And that's where you see thumbnails with people like, that kind of stuff. So it's a fine balance.
It's a fine balance.
I'm really excited because we're going to be produced content around things that we're just deeply care about.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Hopefully people like it.
We're also going to be playing some Rosetta, by the way.
There's a quick update on our subscriber count. It is 57,187.
Oh no, we retraced.
57,187. I think
in the last year, we've lost 50 people.
Now I do know that part of losing subscribers is YouTube cleaning up dead accounts, bots.
I have to think 30 to 40,000 of those are dead accounts or bots.
I don't know,
man. We have all real people. It's all real people scenario.
Hashtag all real people.
Anyway,
so we are playing FAB Rosetta. We did have a number of releases that we had. Nightcrawler come out last week. Was that last week? Was that last week?
Yeah. That was last Friday. It
so
was
we had
Ashes.
We had Ashes, Spawn of Shadowwreck.
The Rosetta, and then I just lost Nightcrawler, man.
Yeah, Marvel Champions.
Yeah, as seen in the hit TV show X-Men 97.
So it's really a bummer because
I'm surprised Robert didn't go there.
We're basically like Ashes. We wanted to play Ashes. We wanted to play Rosetta. We thought Rosetta would be easier and more relevant if we're talking about Magic, because Magic and FAB have a lot more crossover.
And next week we're going to Essen, so we aren't going to be streaming.
Aren't going to be streaming. Then we'll get back from Essen. We'll probably stream Arthurian Legends.
Well, that week we currently have the finale of Alpha Clash set for previous season schedule.
So we got to get Ashes at some point. The next month or two.
If we're playing Alpha Clash and stuff, it doesn't mean we can't play Sorcery at some point.
That's true.
The same day, et cetera, et cetera. But then I presume the next week maybe Ashes.
Let me riddle a tale for you, and then I'm gonna get Zach caught up.
Is riddle a verb there?
Yes.
Just real quick, Frank and John the Bard are saying that the new Ashes expansion is
I've heard nothing but those comments. To be honest with you,
same.
Nothing but those comments.
Maybe just keep getting better.
Maybe we'll have to. Maybe I'll come to your house. I'll bring the baby, and then we can play Ashes while we father.
2 babies, and us playing Ashes. I'm sure it'll be super productive.
We'll definitely still win, obviously.
Odds of them both just like sleeping at the same time, high.
Very high.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to catch you up, and then we're gonna have this conversation.
You're catching me up on what?
Magic the Gathering is a TCG released in 1993.
The oldest, longest running, expandable, collectible card game of all time.
Designed by Richard Garfield, created the entire ecosystem as we know it, all the way from local game stores to distributors and everything around it. And it has since blossomed into Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, etc., coming in from the Japanese side of life, and then a million different games have come and gone, and even the board games have benefited from the system that Magic built. Great scheme of things, which had the Pro Tour, had to travel the thing, see the world,
Travel.
all of that. So
Play the game, see the world, travel the world, see the.
one important thing that happened in Magic's history, Zach, is called Elder Dragon Highlander. We know it colloquially as Commander these days. What that was judges, in the old days. You remember the story of Commander. Judges in the old days are at these competitive Magic events, and they're just looking to blow off some steam afterwards. And they're typically less inclined towards the hardcore competitive play because they watch it all day. They just want to relax. So they want like some trash TV, let's say, after a hard day's work. And so they're like, what if we just put one of everything in our decks and we just, woo.
I love that you just compared Commander to trash TV.
I didn't. That's not an explicit. I'm not saying it's trash. I'm just saying.
Can you cue this up for a short? I just need. That one's going to go wild.
Hey, I'm not saying Below Deck is bad.
I'm not
even
saying
though
you're saying it's bad.
TV. I mean, I watch it after a long day's work. That's my right. It doesn't mean it's bad.
Listen,
just because it's trash, it's a colloquial thing.
I'm not trying to load up the word trash negatively for you. I'm just saying that you compared Commander to trash TV. Regardless of the definition, that's just an amazing moment for me. Go ahead.
It was a useful thing I did for me.
Comments on this one are going to be fire.
So they wanted to unwind after a hard day's work by watching something that did not engage their brains as much. That doesn't sound better, does it?
This is the Magic for dummies. When you don't have no brain power. Hey, real quick, before you continue, hold that thought.
Okay.
Jonathan, can you do me a favor? Can we get a poll up? I want to know how many people watching right now even semi-actively play Commander Magic. Just like...
I bet it's 80%.
Even if you just say, do you play Commander Magic? Would you consider yourself someone who plays this? I'd be curious to know how many people watching. Say that if you're watching this back later, you can leave a comment, and I'd love to know. Do you play Commander?
This is the power.
Do you play Magic Commander, basically? Yes or no?
You really think you have to say Magic before that?
I don't know. I'm out of my depth, man.
So anyway, these judges want to have a fun time with each other, and so
without using their brain.
No, they want to use their brain, Zach, and they love good
and
television.
Just watch trash. Play Commander.
They're watching Better Call Saul. They're engaging their brains. Then what happens is they develop this format called Elder Dragon Highlander. The idea is, hey, there's these cards in the card pool that maybe never get to see play. And this is kind of my framing of it. It might be totally false.
Hey, Patrick agrees with you, by the way. Commander is for sure trash TV down the line with. My brain is unengaged. Now, are you willing to confidently state it now?
No, I still won't. So how in games there's a lot of cards that are really cool, but
LJ Green, man.
They're so cool that you can't ever actually play them in competitive formats. Like the Ancient Dragon and Sorcery. Yeah, I love it. Probably not, So Commander, one of the great appeals to me is like you can take a lot of these like cool, interesting, unique, powerful cards that are too slow or too weird or too awkward for a fast competitive environment and put them on the table at the beginning.
The fun cards, not the good cards.
Well, they may be good.
A lot of times they're separate.
Yeah.
Like there are cards that I always try to play in FAB as an example.
Yes.
And eventually Hamilton comes in and he's like, I don't know why there's 6 cards in your deck. And you're like, yeah, but like the theory and it's fun and this is all the Arknight stuff.
The thing about Magic is that it's this high fantasy thing too. So these are specific, like cool. You have a lot more bandwidth with effects. It's not just it does damage this way, right? It's just like 5 damage, but clever. I can get 6 out of it if it's weird. It's like this is a turtle person, and they have 5 effects that affect turtle people, and it's like that's thematically interesting to me, but I could never put this together in a competitive environment. But I can start with Turtle King on the board as my commander, or I deploy them at some point during the game, and then I get to use strategies that cannot be used in a competitive, super competitive format. Because we're everyone's just having a good time. We want to play the cards we like.
And it's also one-ofs, right? That's like
it's
100 cards one-of, so the consistency is out the window.
That's it. And I don't know if did it start like that? Or did that kind of become the thing? Long story short, the judges are doing this, and then everyone takes note over time, and they're like, wait, I like having fun as well.
This is why we started playing in the first place.
Grinding. And so more people start playing it, and more people start playing it. And as I understand it, and I consulted with our Discord earlier today to get more of an understanding of the history.
Now you're an expert.
there's, there becomes a committee and people who take this format and start to kind of formalize it a little bit because everyone's kind of playing it differently and we all have different ideas.
Is this an official committee or non-official committee?
Well, no community committee is really an official committee.
I don't know if it was Wizards was like, we have a committee.
No, Wizards hasn't come in yet. But I think there's various, there's probably regional groups that start popping up, and then there's, certain people that you say, if you're at a big Magic event in Vegas or whatever, and it's like, we're playing, John's rule set of Commander. And so these things start to kind of formalize, as casual communities want to get together and have the same rule set. Then at some point along the way, and I don't know when the rules committee starts, so I need to know when the rules committee officially is kind of stamped. But somewhere along the way, Wizards is like, whoa, everybody's using our cards to do something that we don't tell them to do. And
as a good public for-profit company, they saw that and said, "Man, let's make money doing it."
Are you trying to get people's attention? Like, are you trying to incite? Or you just actually believe that?
I believe what?
That a for-profit company is then... Are you so cynical that you look at Wizards and you say, they didn't get into printing all these cards specifically for Commander and supporting the format with the product releases that they have because they wanted to give Commander players a better experience? You thought it just came down to them wanting to sell more packs?
I don't consider myself a cynical person. Mm-hmm. However, I think it's my opinion that public companies, particularly with quarterly reports and that whole system, their number one goal is to generate profit. Mm-hmm. And that is the cornerstone of decision making, period.
Okay.
I think a lot of smaller businesses, even when Wizards started, as a business, you need to make money to exist.
Right.
It's like having oxygen. But a lot of times it's more, there's a thing I want to create or an experience I want to offer. But once you're a public company, it's just profit.
Yeah.
You're just making decisions to maximize profit, both in the short and the long term. And a lot of times, unfortunately, with public companies, because of quarterly reports, you're incentivized to maximize short-term profit.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then it's almost like government and getting elected. If you only are...
Easy there, Reagan.
Well, if you're only going to be in office, I won't go presidential, but even locally, like if you're in for 4 years, if you're making a decision that's good for 20 years,
right,
might be the right decision for, let's invest in good roads.
It's a problem, yeah.
But anyone in office that wants to get reelected in 4 years, it's like, well, your budget's going to look really bad. You're going to have to take money away from these other groups in order to do this thing.
Yep.
So public companies are just very driven by being profitable.
That's why I think every position should be a minimum of 15 years of service.
Every governmental?
Yes. Now, that said...
Well, there's problems with that too, though.
Wizard starts making products that are specifically there to appeal to Commander players. So cards that are like fit in the model of this could be a person's Commander. And it's not like... It's not going to say competitive play, but it's like an interesting Commander thing.
And even cards that are potentially interesting in the one-up slots.
Yeah.
In the deck.
Yep, precisely. So as you might expect, a number of these cards throughout the years become very strong, very common, very powerful. The rules synthesize to where everyone's kind of playing the same format. And as people play the same format, they realize that they can play very powerful things. And then they start to get... And then this thing called competitive EDH arises, which as you might expect...
That you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of the Roger Martin, who's a guy who talks about strategy a lot. His strategic planning. Mm-hmm. Like, this doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. That's not how this works.
But it also signals
competitive EDH.
Yes.
What do you mean?
But it signals the grand truth that we all need to recognize. Right? Jonathan's with me on this.
Get on your boat box, baby. Hold on.
There is no point in playing to competitive players or trying to incentivize them to do anything, because what they will do is compete at anything.
You literally can't stop them.
They don't need prizes. They don't need hand-holding. They don't need rule sets. They will figure all that out themselves. They will eat the most hot dogs in a minute. They will run the fastest half marathon that they can. They will. It does not matter. They'll go to a restaurant and order the plate of spaghetti that will get for free if you can eat 16 pounds. You don't even need to incentivize it that much. They'll compete at everything. They'll compete at checkers. They'll compete at Scrabble.
Cornhole, for goodness sakes.
They'll compete at cornhole.
I do like cornhole.
And not even with beers on the line. They'll do it. And then
There's
they'll go,
probably
woo!
competitive beer pong, but they do it with water.
Oh, you know there is.
Yeah.
And then they'll go, woo, I won. And that's all they need.
Mm-hmm.
And then
So I'd
they'll
like to point out two
sleep
comments
happy.
real quick.
All right, let's actually.
And I'm
engage.
kind of one of those people, by the way, and you are too.
One from Matt Straw. Used to play for about 10 years. Lossless Luster when WotC started printing for the format.
So it became kind of too. It used to be kind of indie underground, and then it became too
And then-
cool.
Here is a even better one. Modern Commander really breaks my heart. With how WotC designed both for normal formats and Commander directly, the format feels a lot more homogeneous, and the space for weird, wacky stuff has shrunk. That's kind of an expansion
Yeah.
of what Matt was saying.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? I mean, when human beings just try to refine and put things in boxes, that's the thesis I've been working on here the past year.
I mean, that's the.
And so they hit it, and then they lose the.
I'm not going to say the name of it but the video John shared about how technology is just getting worse. It's the same process. Like
in badification.
in badification, I like that. Yeah, it replaced bad with other words. But it's just this fundamental idea. If I could boil it down to its simplest concept or theory or statement, it's that profit is either a means or an end.
Mm-hmm.
And if it is the end goal, things happen that I don't enjoy and like. And then things inevitably seemingly get worse.
What's a means to a boat? Hey, the next step of this process, by the way, here's what happens. So everything's cool, but then we find ourselves in this current landscape. Listen to this.
Yeah, what actually happened?
There's a rules committee.
Is this an official committee or
No.
a fake committee?
So there's a rules
an
committee
unofficial committee.
that is unofficial, but that Wizards follows their rules in their events. Whatever this rules committee says, Wizards adopts.
No.
Not that they run particularly, it doesn't seem like they run like a lot of
But
organized play driven Commander events. But and then there's other independent Magic institutions like that host conventions and stuff, and they also are saying we are going to listen to the rules committee. So the rules committee becomes empowered by Wizards and other player groups saying we will do what you guys say.
There's a name for this, I think, politically, when people are basically submitting to or following, even though you don't officially have the power,
Guidelines or
but it's like it's the I don't know what it's called, but there's definitely like people or roles where it's like this isn't officially part of the role, but this is just we all bend to it because that's just how tradition and whatever.
Yeah, because
So there's this player group,
Mhm.
there's an unofficial committee that even Wizards is like, yeah, what they're saying is what's going.
We'll listen to what you guys decide. And these are legit. I mean, this is like platinum level judges, and
Sure.
these are
But-
important.
But they just have they have influence more
Right.
than they have actual authority.
Right. And as far as I can tell, because enough of Wizards being the main one, but enough of everybody playing Commander and hosting Commander stuff plays by this certain rule set,
It's a de facto.
then everybody kind of de factos to it. And what this committee did was they announced the bans for a number of cards, 4 cards.
So they're hold on.
Yeah, they're banning cards in the Commander format.
So the unofficial committee
Yes.
is banning cards
Yes.
in the casual, fun, trash TV format
Right.
of a game.
That's right. You call it trash TV now. You can't call it trash TV.
No, I'm just using your words. Just make sure. So I'm just
I know. Yeah, it's a little
okay. So then what happens? Why are we talking about it?
So-
why does this matter?
So why does it matter is because there's as far as I can tell, there's one particularly important plank of this is one that at least one, I think 2 of these cards had a pretty significant monetary value on the secondary market because people were buying them to use in Commander. And so now the rules committee has said you can't use these cards in Commander anymore, at least our format, and everybody around them is saying, well, we're following your format. And so the card prices plummet.
So
Here's another iteration
it
of
gets
it, though.
more though. Oh my god.
So one of these cards, I believe it was called Mana Vault, and our fine viewers can fill in the gaps for me here because I'm about to pivot the conversation. Jonathan, don't let me not engage with our
Okay.
friends.
I'm trying to read comments as they come up.
Okay. So one of it is Mana Vault, I believe is what it is. So for a long time, it has been very hard to get, and it's very good in Commander for whatever reason. So it's very expensive. And then last year, Wizards reprinted Mana Vault in alt art forms and whatnot, and it was very good at driving sales because everybody could finally get access to this card. And then they ban it, like quickly, after that moment. And now the other thing that in this speculation, there's conspiratorial thinking, but I think it's
they
real.
Didn't ban it.
I think
the committee banned it.
But I think the real thing here that's important to note is that apparently the rules committee consults with Wizards years ahead of time. Now, again, I don't know. I don't have a source aside from people saying this.
Bizarre.
But because they have such outsized impact, they would run their ideas by Wizards. And maybe, I don't know if it's like Wizards says, no, you can't ban that card, or yes, you can ban that card, or whatever. I don't know how close the relationship is.
Yeah.
But ultimately,
it's Mana Crypt.
Mana Crypt, thank you. And it should be completely separate. It should be completely separate.
Well, I find this whole thing very peculiar.
That's why I'm so fascinated by it. Yeah. It's another one. It's like the Wonders of the First thing. It's like you find something and you're like, this is like interesting. And then you dig in and you're like, it works like what?
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, we got to talk about this.
So an unofficial committee of people who have a lot of influence post a ban list. Wizards may or may not have known about it. Or may not have been involved in it. We don't know.
I don't know. I get the sense that we do know. Can you guys help me out here?
So here's
Is it real? I mean, are they talking to Wizards? But do we know that?
Regardless, it would be akin to, let's say there was for context I would understand. Let's say there was a FAB multiplayer format.
Mm-hmm.
Totally casual, fan created, etc. Eventually they become so big, they start releasing things intentionally for it. Mm-hmm. Legendary Studios. But there's a committee along the way it gets developed.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of like the ones running the show on the format for this thing. Cool. And let's say, just for a common example, like Fandel Spring Tuning,
mm-hmm.
that it actually turns out no one really uses it in Constructed anymore. But in Commander, or whatever this thing is called, it's like the cat's pajamas.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the card. Yeah. Everyone wants it. Everyone needs it. There's 10 times as many multiplayer players as there is competitive players, because that's how that works.
Yep. Standard, etc.
Tunics are worth $500 or what? Do we have an idea of how much this was selling for recently?
I think it was 400-ish.
And then
it's at thousands in some cases before the reprint.
And then for Commander,
I guess. I guess.
Okay, so
but I think proxies are allowed in the format also. So.
I get it though. I don't want a proxy tunic. I want the cold foil tunic. You know, I got needs. Anyways, so the ban happens. Tunic's no longer playable in this format.
Yeah.
I spent $500 on it. Now it's worth $0.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why there's a lot of noise, because a lot of people are probably upset.
It's a finance
thing. People
yes.
paid thousands for it. People put boxes. And if Wizards was involved, it's even worse, because you reprinted it, sold a bunch of boxes because it was in the thing.
That's it.
And then are like, you know what? Now that you bought all those boxes, joke's on you. It's one thing when you printed a card and you're like, whoops, we missed it. This is broken. It's another when a card's been around for a long time. People have been paying a lot of money for it. And then suddenly you're just like, we're going to shake things up.
Yeah. And like at the heart of all of this is you could not listen to them at all and you could keep playing the cards. Like nobody is for this is the grand. With competitive games, it's a little bit different because I'm going to a tournament where I might win $100,000.
But if the committee is influential enough, like let's just say everyone agrees in this multiplayer FAB format we dreamed up that Tunic makes it less fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, I mean, technically you can show up to Friday Night Magic and play with these cards, and you're not going to get kicked out of the tournament. There's no prizes on the line or whatever. But if the committee is influential enough that that's like a social, like
faux pas,
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because it's like we want to have fun, right? That's
and I definitely, I remember when we were playing Game of Thrones 1.0 back in the day, and things would get banned or whatever, and then sometimes someone would show up, and at the time, particularly Fantasy Flight was not particularly great at communicating, and so it's like there's this it was a restricted list, this active list that changed all the time. Of you can have one named of these cards in your deck, can't have whatever. So someone would show up and with a Maester deck after the Maesters were banned or restricted out of the pool. And it's like, well, I don't really want to play against that.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it weren't a tournament, like it's just not fun. Not fun.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But the weirdest thing to me about it is like, if fun is your angle, I don't know, spend $1,000 on a card, $500 on a card. It's like, that's different because Game of Thrones was an LCG, so that's not.
You can also want to have fun and be a collector.
Oh yeah,
and so I do think it's easy to split the two main groups. One is like we want a healthy, fun Commander format, and we are going to expect this committee to build that for us. And so we're going to follow their rules, and that's the goal of Commander and the committee.
I'm sure they're really trying to walk the fine line of this not being their thing. Because people are already upset that like now you're making cards for the. It's like
apparently there were death threats.
On the one hand, it's like they're like, hey, we want to give you cards to enjoy this game the way you want to enjoy it, or make profit. You decide, or both. It can be both.
It can be both.
But at the other end, if it becomes an official format, it is sanctioned, it is competitive, it is whatever. It's a very different thing at that point. So they're probably trying to use the committee to walk the line without it being official. And I don't know how much influence this way. I'm way out of my depth here.
That's the question,
kind
right?
of consensus of chat.
Okay,
so
I'm going to go into the chat here.
Go into chat.
Can I get poll results real quick?
Yeah, poll results about 50-50.
50-50.
56, 50.
56 say they do play.
56. There we go.
Isn't that wild?
56 what?
44 yes, 55 no.
Okay, so
about half.
About half. But so that's pretty. I guess what's the title of this thing? Asking for a friend. I'm sorry.
FAB, Rosetta, and Magic Commander Bans.
Okay, so yeah.
So, you know. Well, we got a lot of people. I mean, these are our same people we're hanging out with.
Saved you a seat title. Saved you a seat.
Working on it. We're workshopping. We're batting it around.
So
we also talked, Stephen and Zach, about kind of meshing the you guys playing the game with the discussion. So if you want to start getting the shrink wrap off of those boxes, that would be.
Let's start opening this.
Yeah. So, okay. Mason Brantley's listening, and I'm glad to see that.
Where are you, Stephen? I can start reading some stuff.
Well, I'm gonna get boned up here.
Okay.
So Matt Stroud, I'm going back to Matt Stroud's comment, and this is to me a lot of the outrage would hinge on this question mark, which is I'm pretty sure the committee is in touch with Wizards. Wizard just dumped the remaining stock that contains those cards into a bundle called Festival in a Box. So now,
it's like, hey, let's get rid of it before it's banned.
We have been in these situations before where things.
Look at that. Ooh, that is real good.
That looks good.
I'm gonna be
really good.
I'm gonna be honest real quick.
It's just like you're trying it on.
This is the what's the name of this product?
That's a Rosetta Blitz starter bundle, I think is what they're calling them.
One, these are great products. Two, if I had not retired from actively playing and collecting FAB, I feel like Rosetta would have cost me a lot of money.
Well, thank God. You can spend that in Vegas at SorcererCon instead.
Yeah, we'll see you there in November, baby. This is a beautiful mat. Whoever did this art, I don't think it says on the mat.
We've been in situations sometimes where we will do things completely unaware of what the impact would be perception-wise, right? Like you do something, like maybe they were like, well, we'll just put Festival in a Box. We'll put that set in it because it seems like a good fit for what we're doing. The people making that decision had no idea this ban list was coming out and weren't in communication with people. And now it just looks really bad optically, even though that wasn't your intention going in. So that could be it.
Yeah, we've had those moments. Yeah. Even in the release of Flesh and Blood, I remember when we had the Monarch bundle. And it just so happened there were other entities who had stored a lot of inventory and were dumping them in a similar thing. It's like, this is like a coordinated... Anyways.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. So just because we have coincidence doesn't necessarily mean we have a conspiracy.
Correlation does not equal conspiracy.
Crovel said, a friend of mine just bought a $4,000 version of Mana Crypt 6 days before the banning. So
wait, what's this $4,000 version?
Dude, Zach is such a collector. It's unbelievable. You know what he thought just a second? He's like, I wonder what it is about that card that makes it $4,000, and do I need to own it?
No, I don't need to own it. It's just crazy. I didn't know that was just a one of $4,000 commander card for Mac. Is this like constructed playable?
I don't think it's constructed playable.
That's why I'm.
Maybe it is.
You can play it.
Is it constructed playable, y'all?
But you know what I mean.
The one you can't play is Jewel.
You can't play the Jewel. It's like Black Lotus bundling for Commander. But then they banned that too.
What could go wrong?
Yeah.
Why would you?
Well, we're not in it. We don't know. But anyway, so these are the kinds of stories that you hear. If I just spent $4,000 on a card and then a rules committee decided that I can't play it anymore in my weekly tournaments, that would be a bummer because I bought it to play it and to look at it when I play. Well, I assume maybe I bought it to put it in my
here's my
wallet.
question. And again, different people at different phases of life with different resources, but if this is a card you shuffle into your deck, I don't know a lot of people buying a $4,000 card they're gonna play.
So you think they probably just
They're
just buying it as an investment?
Or either investment or a collector who just like wants to own it, and it's like
you just overpaid for a thing, but it's still as pretty as it was when you paid $4,000 for it, is it not? That's the thing, that's the problem with all of this. If your intention was to sell it later for a higher price, then you're speculating. You're not collecting.
And then you can't be upset because that's just the nature of the game.
But if you said this in this format, looking like this foil, this piece of history is worth $4,000, then banning it doesn't change that reality for you, right? That purchase is as valid as it was.
And Wizards in Constructed, I'm assuming, bans cards semi-regularly. As just like this is a thing that happens in collectible games.
Yeah.
Sometimes, your cold foil Bloodshea Skeleton is banned. And then what do you do with it then?
You rip it up.
You just look at it longingly occasionally when you stumble upon it in your Runeblade cards.
Okay, and Ethan Fritz. So Ethan is saying, and this is the other side of this, Wizards was not warned. So Wizards had no awareness that this was going to happen. Well, I think that must be true.
There is, there's an even better version of that somewhere. Let me find that.
This is
other piece of news here from Mason to note: the reprints of Mana Crypt were specifically also still very chase in the sets that they were still
sets. Hard to get.
So they were still very rare in those sets.
Yeah, but even just increasing the population of the card, even if they're very rare, is helpful. Let some of that air out.
Shuichi84 with a great comment here. How come people care what's on the ban list if it's a casual?
There we go.
That's what I've been trying to say for an hour.
Super important here, because this is a Commander thing that we don't realize. So, old Jim, who has some insights, says, I don't think I've ever heard it mentioned yet, but Rule 0, the idea that you should have a conversation about what rules to incorporate / ignore, is well enshrined in the Rules Committee.
Yeah.
So, as a kitchen table casual format, you can choose to not pay attention to what the Rules Committee does.
But here's where that kind of falls apart, though.
That's the big question. Why?
Here's the thing. I think there's two pieces.
Why
of this.
does it have such power?
There are two pieces that are problematic. One is like when we go to Sorcery Con in Vegas in a month, or when we go to Essen in next week, which is awesome, we don't want to have to ask every time we play Sorcery, how are we going to play it?
Yeah.
Like of the 6 decks that are differing levels of legality and power level that I happen to have built, which one can I play here with you? Versus just like, I just built a sorcery deck and you built a sorcery deck, and we both know, coming from different parts of the universe, that they will be the same format and we can play them together. So like, the conversation doesn't solve everything. It actually can make things really difficult, where it's like, okay, Jonathan, how strong is your sorcery deck?
I don't know.
Is it stronger or weaker than mine?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Are we looking for a long game or a short game? Will it be long or short based on the cards that are in our deck? How much mana do you assume you're going to have on the board? Are we okay with roots or are we not okay with roots? Well, all I have is my roots deck is the thing that I love to play. So like, it's not that cool, honestly. That's my take on it. But then also, this idea of casual formats don't need any kind of guidance is just dispellable on its face, because everything is casual. I mean, the vast majority of everything that we do in life is casual, but we bring rules to it typically where we agree. Are we going to run the same speed? Like
to take the
road route or dirt route.
Take the SorceryCon example. They published their universal rules before the game, including stuff like Chaos Twister, which is like, hey, here's what we're going to do, which is not necessarily standard. So I think in that case, like, yeah, you don't want to be having that conversation every time you sit down across from someone at the table in a single day.
Right.
But I think going into that day, if you're like, hey, I don't like these bans and I own an LGS or I run the Commander or it's around my table, it's like, okay,
yeah,
don't
like the
do
event
it.
People can.
They're still there. Like we're in this like digital DRM mindset when it's just cards on the table. You can play poker with them if you wanted to. It wouldn't work very well.
Yeah, I can get 5 of a kind, 5 sea serpents. Does that beat 5 Sling Pixies? You know, you decide. We'll have to take it to the event coordinator.
So, I guess my one question I would have is how big of an issue is this really? Like, are there a lot of people that are upset, or
It's the internet, Zach.
are there the 5% of people that spend a lot of money on this
So
stuff and like
I
are
think
making a lot of noise?
knowing what I know about the internet,
What do you guys think about that?
knowing what I know about the internet, let's see.
There's less than 5%.
So a good comparable is recently Sorcery announced that they were like the deck sizes. You have a spell book and an Atlas deck, right? Is that what they're called?
That's
Proper?
right.
I don't know that formal names, but after the first set came out, it was 40 in your main deck, 20 in your Atlas, your locations. And then they recently announced that they were going to be moving to 50-30, and then 60-40 is the end game. And there were a lot of publicly verbal people who were upset.
Yeah. We talked about that last stream, didn't we?
Yeah, but my opinion is that 95% plus of people playing Sorcery saw that and either didn't see that at all because they don't care.
I didn't even see it.
And then of the people that did see it, 95% saw it and were like, okay, cool, moving on. And they're either going to play with 40-20 if they want or not, or it doesn't even matter because they're playing at the kitchen table or it's the three people that know each other playing. But it was a very loud however many percent. So it feels like this could be a similar. I'm going to guess the vast majority of Commander players are not spending $4,000 on this card.
SoCal Gaming says a big MTG created a poll on the ban with thousands of votes, and it came out to a 50-50 split.
Which is funny, like, because you think thousands of votes is literally 0% of the Magic community. You know what I mean? Like, there's millions of players.
Yes. Now, I know in
But
statistics,
it's a data point.
once you get to like 1,000, you're
like representative.
Yeah, like it's big. It's
But
weird. But
it's like 1,000 people who are online looking.
That's
at
exactly what I was
on
going to say.
social media. It's like
it's similar to how many people in the Discord channel for a game, or in the Facebook group, and it's like, well, you're in Facebook, you're in the group, you're paying attention to the group, you're willing to post in the group or the Reddit thread or whatever it is. So it is segment. It's not like you're perfect. Statistically, if you had a random sample of 1,000 people, I think your accuracy rate is very high. But it's not random.
Yeah,
it's very filtered because if whoever posted that has a heavy collector audience, people that spend a lot of money on these cards. Now we're skewed.
Wade Jones says it perfectly. If I pay $4,000 for art, I'm still fine with the purchase. It's still beautiful art. You can't take that away. If I paid that money to win a non-casual game, then I might be angry.
Yeah, and it's just for pride, right? Like
there was a comment earlier about how there's a good chance, and I think this works with the sorcery deck size thing too, that most of the people who are angry because they have to remake their deck that they like.
Yeah, no, I'd be angry too.
I get it.
Like if they ban like sea serpents, since I keep saying that on stream, I'd be
The
upset.
man loves
for at
sea
least 2
serpents.
games.
Yeah, my deck would be better, but I would still be upset.
Did they ban sea serpents?
Yeah. But
they're just trying to help you out. That's
what I'm trying to get at though here, I think, if I was a reporter, if I was like a games reporter, and I was like trying to keep people, trying to bring the corporate entities to heel as the press is meant to do. What I would do is I would try to figure out, is there actually some kind of connection between the rules committee and Wizards in a meaningful way where their decisions to ban or not ban cards are being dictated
Did you know this ban was coming?
By the umbrella corporation, because they know that it's going to impact product value and they're going to sell less or more based on what the rules committee decides. If that's happening, then that's crazy. People should be in the streets, the digital streets.
The digital streets.
They should register their
Get out your digital pitchforks.
dissatisfaction and then
join me.
I don't know. Nothing would change, but I guess
And then you just don't listen to them.
Mason Sam. Okay, so one of the members of the rules committee is a WotC employee. So
This is sus.
I mean, it's already done, isn't it? One of them is a tenured judge of all time. A previous member who has passed away, sadly, was the highest ranked judge ever awarded. I didn't know that they scaled up indefinitely. It's like a Hades.
This, my friends, is a great example of what happens when the company doesn't say anything. Because there's other comments here about like,
I think they did, though.
This is definitely a surprise to WotC because of reasons. It was a good comment. And then this person said, well, he's part of the employee. And then a little bit down, they say, well, they definitely worked with them for the digital format to make sure that was ready to go. So Wizard clearly knew what was going on.
Yeah, because they put it in rather instantly.
Yeah.
Also, Jacob Zimmerman saying the rules committee has been around before WotC made Commander official. So my framing of it was correct, that the committee started doing their casual thing and policing it, kind of like continuing committee, like Null Signal or anybody else. And then the main company came in and said, "We like what you're doing. We're going to listen to you and use you." Clark said they discussed the ban of fast mana with Wizards in the past. They discussed it with Wizards. See, that's weird.
Who is Wizards?
That should not be happening.
Let's also, like, when you say discussed it with Wizards, right?
Yeah.
If you discuss them with Eric Curioso, you can kind of get away with saying that. But even then, it's like, who are you talking to? Wizards is a gigantic company.
Like, okay, let's put this in a little bit of perspective. Okay. Let's say that
Talk to Coca-Cola.
Sorcerers released Arthurian Legends a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a rules committee that has been... We are the rules committee.
We are the committee.
Okay, well, now we're retailers. It's horrible.
Let's say we're not. Let's say makeup...
Angerworm is the rules committee.
Okay.
Totally unaffiliated with anybody
or
selling
like the
product.
SorcererCon people.
Okay, yeah, David.
David
and
Alex.
Alex. Okay, is David and Alex say, hey, Eric's Curiosa says we love SorceryCon, which you guys have done. We're going to follow your recommendations for all bans and changes to the rules moving forward. And I'm like, okay. And so they established this rules committee. And then David and Alex reach out to Eric's Curiosa a week after Arthurian Legends and say, hey, that like really awesome King Arthur that you guys printed, that is like driving the sales of your product right now because people are trying to collect that and find it. We're going to ban it from everything. We're going to ban it in every one of our events, and you're going to follow our recommendations, and it's not going to be used in any official sorcery events. And all of our different little casual pockets, the SoCal or not, the what is that called? The cup.
Here we go.
The secret cup. What is the courtesan cup over there in the east, and the Drew's thing down in the south in Texas. Everyone's gonna follow it. And then Eric's Curiosa is like, no, you can't do that yet. Wait at least a year.
Even just simply, SorceryCon is an event happening a month after Arthurian Legends comes out. If they said, you know what, actually Arthurian Legends is not going to be legal at our tournament, or the uniques from Arthurian Legends are not going to be legal, or specifically problem cards are not going to be legal, that alone would have an impact. If I've like signed up to go to SorceryCon, and not in like a super competitive lots of stuff on the line, it'd be like if I pull, some crazy version of King Arthur out of my foil, and then I just can't play him. That would have an impact.
That's annoying for players, but I think the really damning part of it is if the rules committee has to listen to Wizards because the decisions will impact them monetarily.
Yep.
That's when it gets really bad. That's bad. That's bad.
So
now imagine, but my sentiments from earlier, you said I was pessimistic. If your only one true goal was profit, that's the decision they're making in and of themselves, right?
And let's say we take the rules committee out of this.
Yeah.
They're the weird element of this. Take the rules committee out and say that Wizards is running all of the banned lists for Commander. It's their official format. And then they reprint a really important card for the format. And then like a month after all of those things have sold, they ban the card that everybody bought the product to get.
Yeah.
Right?
Like
that's gotta be
Legend
bad.
Story reprinted Command and Conquer, a staple forever that's expensive still in this set,
and like reprinted in a way that was still hard to get.
Yeah,
it's
like they did the
$100.
Fabled Command and Conquer.
Yeah,
which is like $1,000 card at this point, or something crazy.
Correct.
And then even 6 months later, a year later, like, you know what? That's banned. That would, even though, but that's like the official competitive format, right? It gets really weird because it's not official. There's a committee. It's
casual.
It's the one of even this is like one of 100 cards. It's just bizarre.
But man,
okay, I think this is important context.
All right, hit me, John. What do you got?
This is the quote from the Rules Committee. We have discussed our concerns about fast mana, including marquee cards like Jeweled Lotus and Mana Crypt with WotC for some time, but had not decided to ban them until recently. The same document this is from basically says they ignored the competitive metagame and the ban is just for casual games. Little context.
What is that?
Get some what is it? Primary sources in here.
They ignored the competitive metagame. And the ban
is there
is
a competitive
just for casual
EDH
games.
metagame?
That's above my pay grade.
That's why the chat's here, man.
That's right.
I don't know.
Zach may be a little out of focus.
Real quick.
Oh,
it's because I was leaning.
He was leaning back. Yeah. We got more bokeh out.
Real quick, Steven.
They also said context in the high-powered community believe it will not be destructive to the format and/or it will evolve into something new. I mean, of course, it'll always evolve into something new, and everyone
most people
always
stop playing it.
We'll move on.
Hey, real quick, you have 3 choices.
Yeah.
There are 2 wizards. There is a Earth wizard named Verdance.
Do they play normal or are they all instant your turn stuff? Or is that
I have no idea. So the Earth wizard is a 3-star difficulty out of 5. Her name's Verdance, and it's a beautiful piece of art. Then there's a lightning wizard called Auxilio.
How many stars on that bad boy?
4 stars.
That's
Electrify your wizard staff with the power of lightning and sigils, and then blast your opponent with arcane damage. Okay.
I feel like Electra's a lot of like stacking triggers.
Then there's a lightning runeblade named Aurora. She's 2 out of 5 stars.
Okay.
Simplest thing.
And I've heard this is the easiest one to build in limited also.
It has. I mean,
Runeblade is for like the knuckle draggers among us, but
a lot of people want to see someone try to figure out a Cilio.
Yeah, I guess. I am playing Florian. You will not be surprised. He's the Earth Runeblade.
Okay.
2.5 stars out of 5 difficulty.
Okay.
Look at this guy. I'm telling you, I would have spent uncomfortable amounts of money on this set.
Yeah, that would have been bad for you.
Earth Runeblade. He's like got the fall theme as well, and he's like raising the sword out of the dead tree looking thing.
You could wear your cardigan every time you play him.
It would be beautiful.
Or them, I guess. I don't even know that.
It would be beautiful. Yeah, don't assume.
Okay, so all that to say, where do we land on all of these? What can I get from you guys in the chat? A singular, everyone who can offer it, a singular comment that kind of summarizes your thoughts about the ban of these 4 cards. Because as Zach and I have made, hopefully everybody keenly aware.
We know nothing.
We have no idea what's going on. But looking into this, it seems insane to me, honestly. Not the banning of cards and stuff, the way this whole thing works and the authority structures that are built around it, it seems crazy. But it's working, or at least it exists.
Well, honestly, that video John shared it has so many ties to this exact thing. Part of it is it's working and it continues to exist, but there's a momentum to it, and it's so sticky and hard to leave. Because it was talking about like Facebook and how, I mean, part of being able to leave is there somewhere else to go?
Right.
And then what's the transfer cost? Like, are the people you actually, if you're in some very specific Facebook group, I don't know, like for a game that you play, is there somewhere else where that same group of people is getting together or not? You may not like what Facebook's doing, but it's really hard to actually leave that thing. Yeah. So Magic is kind of similar, where if you've been playing for 10 years and that's what everyone plays, that's what everyone knows, that's what all the money you spend on the cards. It's like switching cost is hard. Yeah. The people you want to play with may not want to play the thing you want to play if it's going to be something different. So I feel like a lot of people get just kind of stuck.
That's why it's really frustrating sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. In playing, and then you're stuck, but then stuff like this happens that you don't like, or products come out you don't like, or the format is not one that you enjoy. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, well, what now?
Yeah, it's that's a frustrating tension between, I really don't like how this is going, but I don't feel like I can leave. Mm-hmm. It's like, man, that is like the quintessential frustrating.
It's like being in a bad relationship.
Yeah, it is. Okay. Let me see what people are saying in the final.
Dude, I'm gonna Florian your face off. Just gonna read my cards.
Jello shots. Let's kick it off here. I really wish the rules committee would just have a CEDH competitive commander and EDH casual commander ban list to make this more about it just being about problematic cards in the casual community. So maybe a lot of the people upset are the competitive commander, which again, when you dive in as an outsider, it really does get strange.
Because what is competitive EDH?
If I said, Zach, would you like to play the competitive version of the casual format or the casual version of the casual format? That's weird, right?
I mean, perhaps this points to the inefficiency or insufficiency of the words we're using when we say casual and competitive. It does. I kind of get it, but at the same time, as far as I was aware, most people playing Commander, even if you are at a local store, it's not like you're playing a Commander tournament.
But so, in my mind, isn't competitive Commander just simply casual Commander played by competitive people? And it's just a way for them to say, hey, look out, everyone, because we're not going to be fun to play against.
Yeah, I think it's like rule 0, we're going as hard as possible.
Yeah. And if you want to go as hard as possible, come join me. And maybe that's a great way for them to like self-select themselves out of the casual pool, because that's an impossible position for them to hold. I mean, again, if there's competitive cornhole and someone's like, hey, man, I'm a competitive cornhole player, I'm going to be like, okay, well, I'm not going to play cornhole with you.
It's even weirder if like the four of us playing cornhole was like, we're just going to decide who to throw, whose points are getting thrown into the bucket. You know what I mean? Like a free-for-all competitive game is actually crazy. Because then it's just like, it's all political.
We played Melee Thrones.
Yeah, but
come on, man.
But Thrones, to its great credit, had two things that were important. One, you couldn't knock out players. Two, it was a race to power. And three, there was a central mechanic in the middle of the game that drove decision-making beyond just, I don't like you, or I think it's in my best interest. Which is great. It's like, oh, I have this role, and if I attack that role, I get bonus power, so I'm incentivized to do this. Otherwise, it's literally just
Kingmaking.
You wanna come after me, I'll give you, and then we can go after that, and then, oh, you betrayed me, and oh no, and then one card.
You betrayed me.
Yeah, it's just.
Gosh, you're so.
I need to have a conversation about free-for-all games. I think they're fundamentally just don't work. Okay.
They work for a certain kind of people, but
I don't think they work
people
competitively.
might need to be institutionalized.
No.
Just the people that love free-for-all political king.
I know, but like diplomacy and stuff is fine, but when you're the auspices of the card game format being a competitive format on its nature, somebody has to win and lose. It is problematic to have that just be willy-nilly selected by the players at the table based on who they decide to be aggressive towards.
Well, this is a topic for another day, but I feel like most board games function exactly that way.
They do.
Which is technically, if you have 4 people playing a board game, 3 people, like you're playing Catan even as a base example, you can definitely decide as a group not to let someone win. Doesn't mean you're going to win. But that can happen.
Absolutely.
But you go into Catan with a certain... I was going to say dread. You go into a Catan with a certain mentality, though, where...
But don't you think that's one of the reasons you're not playing Catan anymore?
Oh, 100%.
That's why I think it's kind of broken.
If Thrones Melee was the only way Thrones existed, it would naturally select for itself. Like people playing it, the problem with that is people would go from playing the 1v1 mode and want the multiplayer to be similarly competitive. And that's just not how that works. I think Thrones Melee as a card game is one of the greatest things that, like, achievements of feeling like the theme. But you have to have the right people to play that with. Otherwise, it's not fun.
You have to have the right people, but it has a mechanism. It's just like David's version of free-for-all sorcery. It works because you're playing Steal the Bacon.
Yeah.
That's what you're actually playing. You're not just playing, I guess I'll decide who to kill.
Well, that's one of the biggest... Having a win condition that's not just kill someone is key for that kind of game.
Yeah, 100%.
Could be capture the flag, could be king of the hill, could be
steal
the bacon.
And apparently in Twin Suns, when someone's knocked out, there's a short clock where the game ends that round.
That's cool. And I like in Bomberman where you come back as a ghost and you can mess with your friends. That solves all the problems, right? If you're going to knock players out, they have to still do something in the game.
There needs to be repercussions.
Okay, here's some thoughts. Smurl. Players will still play... I'm going to use Commander in place of EDH. Players will still play Commander and buy a ton of product. Smurl.
Yep. No stopping this freight train.
Coming up. CB saying, classic WotC mismanagement. Genghis Khan...
But... they can keep mismanaging all day long. If the line goes up and to the right, it doesn't matter.
Well, they didn't manage anything. It's the rules committee, dude.
Wink, wink.
Genghis Khan, needless overreach.
This Rain comment coming up is one of my favorites.
Rain says, players are like crack addicts. They want power. Sometimes you have to do what's best for them.
Hot take.
So I guess they're power addicts. Then Dougherty saying, don't care. Then stream can start. Don't care. Going to use them anyway if I want to. Okay, true casual there. Taylor Evelyn saying the bans seem normal if it was an official format. But it's not. Wink, wink. Even though we're making a lot of money off of it. Travis Tron says...
Perhaps the most money, honestly.
That's what everybody thinks. I don't think we should have a ban list unless it's a completely game-breaking card, which these are not. Okay?
Yeah, we didn't even get into the need or necessity of this.
Shuichi84, one of our longtime
Yeah.
audience members. I'm glad to see your name in the chat, Shuichi84, from the old pandemic streaming days, saying meh. Second Cycle saying opinion. I'm glad I left Magic for Fab 4 years ago.
There is that.
Z-Storm says the ban ultimately means nothing because Commander is a kitchen table casual format, very limited to no official support other than product releases. People will choose to play whatever.
How are the players?
It's a classic sentiment. It does have its issues. It does have its issues, though.
Yeah,
I can take issue with that.
Zorm's next comment also important.
Okay. Z-Storm saying they want play whatever they want, but the rules help those looking to play with randoms at their
And
LGS.
that is the crux, isn't it?
Yeah. Patrick Dunham saying, my thoughts on this ban, just play casual Commander with your friends. Okay. Wade Jones says it's fine. A community-run game has a community-run ban list. I would be stunned if there wasn't such a thing. That's true. That's true. Even the Warlord folks did that.
Yeah.
Back when the game wasn't even in print, right? And then they actually unbanned, I think, everything. Terrence Milner, unrelated, but seeing soul coughing tonight.
Side note, talk about long time viewer, long time listener.
Perhaps the longest of
Terrence
times.
the best.
Yeah. There are some people that go back a little further, I think. But Terrence was the Mompoc era, which
Yeah.
is not quite the start, but it's close.
Well, I think Terrence was the first time we streamed anything.
Yeah. He's also just one of the most routine. You see some of the other Mompoc players or even some of the Spoils people. But, like, Terrence is around.
Yeah, he's got a heart of gold, too.
And he makes a mean blue.
He makes a mean blue. Matt Strott, WotC needs to split Commander and CEDH into 2 different rule sets. Okay? But
What
then
is
they
CEDH?
break that's competitive Commander. But they break then the official, because it's not
The
an
unofficial
format.
split.
The unofficial.
WotC can't do anything.
Mason Brantley saying, good decision for the ban, IMO. It's a shame for some players' price, but you can't let price dictate your decisions.
A true player's player right there.
Angerworm saying, many of the folks who complain about the cards being banned would complain if they were reprinted in a widely available pre-con. If you're playing Commander casually, it does not matter.
Nor should it.
Dysphoria, singular thought. Between Magic the Gathering and D&D, Wizards fans give Star Wars fans a run for their money.
In what way?
I think you know what way.
This next one coming up, I think John's got a good take.
John Verardo saying, I think the issue is that most Commander players are casual and thus not used to cards being banned. Those of us playing 60-card formats are used to it. Is this the first time they banned stuff in Commander or something?
That's kind of what I was saying.
know.
Like, it feels like a normal thing that happens. So
J.K. Lawlings, when not buying old Warlord cards, is saying, I'm not bothered by the situation at all. I think people are overreacting, and if they lost money because they invested in cards for a casual format, that's a bit of a shame, but, like, sorry, I guess.
I can feel the empathy bleeding out of that comment.
The people have chosen suffering. We'll need to put a poll up here in just a second.
Suffering.
Oh, for who you're going to play?
Yeah.
All right, you ready for the names, Jonathan?
Yeah, hold on.
Hold on. We're not quite there. Are we there?
Well, I can get the poll going while you're doing that.
Do we want Steven to suffer on stream or not?
So that translates to Auxilio or not. Because I think you're probably Auxilio or Verdance, right?
Yeah, probably.
You don't strike me as a Lightning Runeblade guy.
As I said, I don't. Sleeping Gloom saying, as someone who plays Commander a few times a year at this point, used to play a lot, it just seems unnecessary. I prefer to play at home, so if the group is cool with them, then it's whatever. Okay. Ooh, Genghis Khan bringing this in. It further fractures the player base because more than half of our LGS players are electing to ignore the ban.
That's a good take, too. That's important to know.
But yeah, any decision is probably going to do that to some degree.
Speaking of good takes, if you're watching, whether live or in the future, don't forget to smash that like button.
There you go.
Little John's got to eat.
He's got to eat. He's hungry. He's a grown boy. He's doing
Ring
front
the bell.
flips now. I gotta
Front
give
flips.
him. I gotta.
To be clear, at a trampoline.
Yeah,
park,
not
right?
like from standing yet.
That would
He's
be amazing.
4 years old and he's
Yeah.
doing a front flip. I wasn't brave enough to do a front flip till like
I was barely
6
even
months ago.
bold enough to get in the pool when I was that age.
It's true.
I'm not kidding.
See, to do it, this is cool. So this is a similar kind of unintended thing that happens. This kind of feels somewhat like what happened to Null Signal, the Netrunner Continuing Committee, where they released an expansion and then immediately changed the terminology and backs of their cards. So then you kind of had to rebuy if you wanted to have the actual version.
But the difference there is that Null Signal is a non-profit that's not like.
The rules committee is a nonprofit.
But the complicating factor is that Wizards is a for-profit entity who made money off of a card that is now banned.
Yeah.
By selling product, whereas Null Signal is a nonprofit fan-run organization that probably was just trying to make things better, and there happens to be a cost to it, but it's literally a fixed print this thing cost, not a I spent $500 cost.
I mean, and at the heart of all of that, the problem is that Wizards has decided to hitch themselves to a player-run thing.
That is a problem.
Like, right? Because the rules committee should be able to say, yeah, we think these things should be banned because it's going to make the format more fun, and we don't care about your product. But now they have to care because they've been given so much power that they maybe didn't even ask for. Thanks, Wizard. And then Wizards gets to insulate all the risk and the problems that the rules committee creates. They don't have to bear the bad PR and the problems.
Sounds good for Wizards.
Man,
is this the downside of power of the players? Is this
My
what we're getting into now?
goodness. We got to take it to these corporate morons, man. I'm over it. I'm so tired of it.
I'll tell you two things. One, I'm sure that it's almost like when people talk about the government doing something to them, where it's like if they were really that concentrated, orchestrated, and powerful,
and competent,
I don't think so. Wizards is a giant company,
right?
And so like, there's probably a lot of really passionate, caring, smart people at this organization, but it's an organization, an organism that's large and has a profit motive. And so you said you call them morons. So just reality. However, the second thing is
the employees.
This is the same institution that when we were teenagers put out the Star Wars TCG, had a world championship, previewed the next set, and then never ever once talked about that game ever again. No announcements, no posts, no interviews, no nothing, just dead.
Burned us early.
And when it first happened, I took it very personal. And as I got older, it was like, well, this wasn't personal. This was just business.
Which almost makes it worse.
Which does, because it's not even a person doing this to you. It's just like, this is a status quo that will continue, and there's nothing that's going to change about them, and you should expect it to.
It's a consequence of them being able to vacuum up the money.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, they got the license, swept it out from the Star Wars TCG, so that game gets canceled, which was their biggest competitor at the time. Like, looking back, it's crazy. And then they made this game, put in the minimum effort for a couple of years, and then they're gone.
Yeah.
And what is the penalty that they got for that?
Yeah, I mean, you're right to correct me. The Wizards morons does not mean the people necessarily, employees involved, but it's more of like this moronic structure that we allow to make everything worse all of the time. Like, you can trace a straight line between things getting bigger and more corporate and being beholden to shareholders, and everything about what they're doing getting worse. Well, it is literally a straight line. It happens every time.
The bigger an organization gets, the less connected and human and thoughtful it can be.
Right.
Because again, 1,000 people as a group, a company is almost an organism, and it's got this kind of hive mind of its own with all these different levers and stuff going on. But like that even the Star Wars TCG, like at the time, it's like someone was pulling the strings and like was out to, whatever. And it's like, I just don't think they cared. And there was no one there to care. Like, it wasn't someone's job to do that. It was just like, well, the game's ending.
Not making enough money.
So whoever was working on it just like got reassigned or fired. And I'm sure there were people that got fired that don't get to work on this anymore that really did care.
They loved it. That game was awesome.
Yeah, but
I saw with the FFG LCGs and rotation in general, they cared deeply about that. And they wanted those games to be as healthy and as good as possible. And they tried to announce that in the gentlest, most, nicest, respectful way they could. And people still lost their minds.
It was so gentle it never even happened to.
Well, I think that's a good example. Like FFG, like specifically when Netrunner and X-Wing came out, they grew very quickly. And it was hard for them to effectively communicate and stay in touch and stay on the ground because they're a larger organization with all these people doing very specific jobs. And it's like, well, whose job is it to say the Destiny set's delayed? And it's not necessarily, and a lot of times, at least in my experience, create positions that are like, this is in case we mess up, someone be responsible for communicating position. Like, anyways.
You think FFG got better after they got bought by Asmodee, and then Asmodee got bought by that alphabet soup company?
No.
Every time, Jonathan.
Are you kidding me?
Every single time.
I agree.
That was the idea. No. Way not better.
See, I was still greatly influenced by the idea of Dunbar's number back in my college days, which is like you can only really believe 100 or so people are people. The best way that's been put is that's why people believe their dog is more of a person than the trash man. Because like that's just our monkey brains can't handle that many people being part of part of who we are.
I can handle all 150 watching.
So yes, so that's why
They're all
exactly.
people
So
to
we
me.
have 150 people here. We know all
It's
these
just-
people. They're all awesome people. But as you get bigger and bigger and bigger, you have to make choices in aggregate. You have to make choices to stereotypes because you're not even capable of knowing the people as people anymore. That's my theory,
Well,
and I see it all.
yeah. It's just the idea of if it's just Steven, he does something, then Steven did that. Once it's Steven plus, let's say, me, and something happens, you can't just associate that with either of us. Like or the three of us, right? This group is different than any one of us. And then you multiply that to 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 people. And like,
I have a theory that would make this easier. What if corporations were just people? And then you could be mad at that person. You know what I mean? Like, you take a bunch of people and you make it into one person, and then I can be mad at that one person, which I think was the point of all of that, right? Anyway, also just before you're saying, I appreciate it's an easy putt to say, oh, it's capitalism, etc. And fine, you can have political ideology is ever moving and never settled. However, capitalism allows us to do what we do, which is nice.
Yeah,
And I don't think it's an inevitability. You can run a for-profit organization and not succumb to greed by sacrificing all your morals and values to profit motives. Like, it's a failing of our culture, for sure. It's a failing of us as people. It's not a failing necessarily of any given system. It's just like, why keep taking more? Stop.
well, to be clear on that, to piggyback off of it, is I see people say this about capitalism a lot, but inherent in the philosophy of capitalism is that monopolies are bad.
Right.
And monopolies inherently are big because
Right.
they own the whole thing. And there's a reason that even the author of the concept of capitalism was like, hey, monopolies are bad. Big, giant companies that control segments, bad.
Break them up.
Bad.
Break 'em
Because, again, even the preeminent mind on capitalism was saying, don't let things get too big.
This is going to be a problem, yeah.
Which, for all the negativity that capitalism gets associated with it, it's like, hey, even they thought it was bad. Like, here we are.
Who would have thought that they could get big enough to just own the government?
Yeah,
Not saying that's happened. I don't know. I'm just a guy.
I think there's a great desire by humans everywhere to try to invent systems that don't need maintenance, and I think that's the great lie. That's the biggest lie there is.
But
That's
who janitors the janitor, Jonathan?
somebody else. You can go in a circle. You can have three people keeping each other.
Hey,
in
can I
check.
get poll number 2 results? This
That would be
stream wants Steven to suffer?
63% want Steven to suffer.
All right,
So-
Wooly. This is for after we get to open a pack. So I'm playing. You have Pops, John?
You know I do.
We'll put that to the test. I'm playing Florian, the young version. If there are 4 or more Earth cards in your banished zone, oh god, Florian gets. If you would create 1 or more Aura tokens, instead create that many plus 1 of each of those tokens. So, a good example of an Aura token is a Rune Chant. Do you have the Earth version that I have here? Look at them. Alt Art Rune Chant.
You know I do.
Like I said, I'm sure this is in cold foil somewhere. What? I would have spent a lot of money on this. This is an aura, you see. So if I have 4 more Earth cards in my banished zone, I would create a Rune Chant. I get plus 1.
I'm following.
Great. My weapon is the Rotwood Reaper. This is the balanced version of Rosetta Thorn.
Also,
name of the set, Rosetta.
This is important. Alex Becker needs Steven to know that he voted for him not to suffer.
Thanks, Alex. He's gonna love. I'm going to hate this.
You've got
It's gonna be the
friends.
worst.
You guys are buddies.
If you love FAB and you want to see people having fun playing it, this is going to break your heart.
Maybe you'll love it.
Uh-huh.
Let's get optimistic. Anyways,
Oh,
my
that's
sword,
weird.
get this, check this out. Once per turn action, it's 2 resources attack. So 2 for 2.
Okay, so far it's fair.
If you played or create an aura this turn, it gets +2 attack.
2 for 4.
But instead of costing 1 like Rosetta Thorn, it costs 2. And instead of doing 2 arcane damage, it does 2 extra physical.
Oh.
That is a Ian Schaefer also saying he voted for you not to suffer.
The people who actually play FAB and actually want to see an enjoyable experience voted for me not to suffer.
Yeah, and
The
everyone else is
Magic
just
the
here for
Gathering band people
the
wanted me to
giggles.
suffer.
All right, then I got some equipment which we won't worry about. This is
It does look good though. Look at that. Looks really good.
this is notable. So this is called the Rosetta Macro, Sanctuary of Aria. You start the game with this in the arena when you're playing Rosetta Limited.
Wow.
So we just get this thing. I think those are cats down there. Adorable. Instant, 2 resources. Prevent the next 1 damage that will be dealt to you this turn by a source of your choice. Destroy this at the beginning of the end phase. So, oh, wow. That's very good. Because you could pay 2. You don't destroy until the end, so you can pay 2 multiple times.
Yeah, I love paying 2 for a damage.
Well, particularly in a set with arcane damage, I think this is important to have.
Yeah. Okay.
It reminds me of, what was that helmet? There was a set where
Yeah.
there was a helmet that you just got. I forget the name of the helmet at this point.
Like how you use this is going to determine if you win or lose in a
Yeah.
good.
So this is kind of just like a bonus equipment. Conceptually, I don't know.
Should I be scared about these cards?
There's a lot of cards on
They're
there.
is
really cool, but I need someone to explain them.
Why
to
are there
me.
2 cards on 1 card?
Well, if you read right here, keyword meld.
Can you read me the? Can you,
What's
like,
the name?
the
It's
main title?
Comet Storm
Comet
and Shock.
Storm Shock.
These are melded cards.
You may play 1 or both halves of this card. Each costs 2. Oh, well, that's kind of clever.
So it's kind of like 2 cards in 1.
So rather than having a normal card with 2, like choose one of the following effects, it's 2 cards
Mm-hmm.
instead.
Which, like in this case, is deal 1 arcane damage and deal 5 arcane damage. Why would you ever do that? Any target, any target.
There's got it. We'll probably get
Well,
into it in the
this side's a wizard action. This side's a lightning action.
lightning instant.
So,
Notably.
okay, that's why.
That's why.
But if you had something that was like +1 arcane damage every time you do arcane damage, that's 2 different instances of it.
Yeah.
But this is a weird one for me. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not a huge fan of this. I don't like the way it looks.
I thought it was cool.
I don't, Jonathan. I don't like the way it looks either.
Like,
but Zach and I are boomers now.
I-
like
I do.
I want it like I always had it.
I understand.
This is important, I think.
This is we've had this discussion recently internally, but I understand that there's a certain amount of design space limitation. But I don't know, man. This is not my fab. You know what I mean? I got out before the meld cards. That's how I know.
All right, so I also am a purist.
It's fine.
just
It's
wanna
not
see
like
the art.
offensive. I just the art's tiny on it too.
It's not a QR code for me, is it?
It's better than a QR code.
Okay, what do we have here? What do we have? We got some.
Oh, wait, hold on. This is important. They resolve right to left,
Okay.
not left to right.
So if you play them both, is that true? But do you have to declare you're playing both at the time you're playing the card?
yeah,
I'm guessing.
and you can play instants in between them, and they go right to left.
Now that's surprising. Now that is very surprising. So I declare if I'm playing one or both.
Yes,
And then
there's some debate in the chat about if you can play instances in between.
Once the stack is passed, the first instance of the card on the right will resolve. Then there's another instant window, obviously.
So the
and then
right
once
is it an instant every time on the right?
Dude,
Yeah, it is.
Zach, seriously, do you not pine for the days of the spoils? Do you know, and it's a very simple thing because everybody's got a stack and everybody does everything.
You mean cost effect and a very clear resolution
I mean,
structure?
that's a part of it. But the biggest piece of it is that after both players pass, you resolve everything. There's no stop resolving to potentially get back in an interaction. It's like we stack all the dominoes up. Once we
Until we're
both
done.
pass, it goes all the way down.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I think
For some
that's
reason, I
what-
thought it was every time something resolved, we had a chance to do more.
Yeah, I don't think so. It was like that for Skytear.
The-
In my mind, that's how it worked.
Oh, I see. So the layers go on left to right and then resolve backwards because it's an instant on the right. So you play the action, and then you have a chance to play the instant on top of it, basically. So the instant resolves first, and you come back and resolve the action.
Right.
Do you have to play the action to play the card?
No. It says you can play either side.
So you could just play an instant.
Yes.
Or, that makes sense. So you could play Shock as an instant whenever.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could play Comet Storm as an action, and you still have the ability to resolve the instant.
Yeah, or you just play Comet Storm as its own thing. You can play Shock as its own thing. Or if you play them both, it goes Comet Storm, Shock, and then the window stays open. And then once you guys pass, Shock resolves, and then the window's open. And once you guys pass, Comet Storm resolves.
Okay.
You guys professionals. You got
Well,
this.
I still know way more about the rules than Zach has ever known.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
It's true of any and all games.
Real quick, this is nice, these blitz decks. So, came with the deck, came with the equipment, came with the hero and the weapon. I got tokens galore over here. But then they have this really nice tips and tricks card.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't get one of those.
Yeah. So this says, early game decisions should be focused on getting your hero ability active. Defend with earth cards and decompose whenever you can. That'll be fun to learn. Cards like Arcane Seeds and Splintering Deadwood make rune chance in separate events, meaning like that 2 rune chance actually become 4 once your hero ability is online. Rotwood Reaper plays beautifully with your 1-cost auras, and Florian is satisfied making an aura and swinging his sword for 4 while he waits for a massive pop-off turn. Got it. You're going down.
Where's my little... Oh, here we go.
You probably have tokens in the back, too, with that.
I wish you had played StarCraft also, because this is exactly the same as the Archons from StarCraft. You remember those guys?
Oh, yeah.
Tips and tricks.
Do you remember?
Blast to Oblivion is the most important card in your deck. Okay, let's take a look at that. This is actually really handy. I'm glad they put these cards in. Okay, Blast to Oblivion. 0 cost, lightning action, attack, 4 power. When it attacks, the next time you play an instant card this chain link, you may return target aura permanent with cost 1 or less to target aura token to its owner's hand. So that can be your auras go back to hand or my auras go back to hand. Okay, so that means I should probably
cool art though.
Probably have some of those. Use it to get multiple benefits from your own auras as well as to deal with your opponent's key aura tokens. Got it? Volzar the Lightning Rod and the Shock half of Comet Storm are both instants, meaning that an opponent is never safe once their life total gets too low, even on their turn. Okay, so I'm looking to kill you on your turn at the end of the game. Wizard stuff. Speaking of Shock, don't be afraid to play it at instant speed and without its Comet Storm half. Sometimes you really need an instant or lightning card to empower another effect. So it's kind of an always on.
This lightning rod's really cool.
Yeah. Now, are these just in my deck?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and then we got Blast to Oblivion, and then we need to look at my ability. Once per turn, discard an instant draw card. That's nice. So I can just fish. And then Essence of Lightning. Okay, easy. And then Volzar. If you control an aura permanent with sigil in its name, this costs 1 less to activate. Let's just look at what that would be.
You want to hand me a couple of those, 4 of those dice over there?
Wait, would the aura permanents not be like outside of the game?
No,
yes,
it's like
it would be. Embodiment of Lightning. This is an aura permanent, right? What makes it a permanent?
No, aura permanent would be like a sigil in your deck.
Okay.
I saw one of those earlier.
Okay.
A token is not a permanent.
Got it.
As far as I know.
Oh, aura. There it is. It says it right there in the lobby. Okay, we have Sigil of Conductivity. And that is Arcane Shelter 1. If you would be dealt 1 arcane damage, destroy this and prevent 1. So it's an arcane, it's a shield. And then when it leaves the arena, create an Embodiment of Lightning token. An Embodiment of Lightning is when you play an attack action card, you destroy it and the gates go again. Okay? Sigil of Forethought. At the beginning of your action phase, destroy. When it leaves the arena, create a Ponder token. So I get a free card on the next turn. And Sigil of Lightning, at the beginning, destroy it.
Tokens are permanents. You were right.
Okay, great. When it leaves the arena, create an Embodiment of Lightning token. What makes something a permanent? What's a non-permanent, for instance? I'm asking the wrong guy. I know. I'm sorry. I don't even know why I wasted my oxygen on that.
You wasted your oxygen. You wasted my time. You wasted Jonathan's time. You wasted everyone out there's time. Barking up the wrong tree.
I mean, it feels permanent.
Or rotwood.
Ah, I like that. That's good.
That's funny.
Ha.
And then what it does for free, if I have a sigil out,
some of the art in this set is up. It's slapping.
Amp X. X is the number of lightning cards you played this turn. The next time you would deal arcane damage, instead deal that much plus X. So I would need to stack up all of the instants, and then at the very end, amp.
If you had a token out and you were just like, is it played or pitched?
What are you talking about?
You played. Okay, so you played like 3 lightning cards, and then you amp something up and +3 it.
Yeah. Yeah. But to do that, you would play the thing, and then you would keep going on the stack with this, and then once this resolves, then this would be the next effect that would get the plus X.
Yeah. You can also like do an instant, let it resolve, and then do something else.
You could. But it leaves room for funny business. Like, I want to do it as weirdly. I want to be a wizard. I want to feel wizardy.
Yeah. You will.
You will.
I saw Kano was dunking on some events this past week or two, so that's always a fun time. Then people start putting Arcane Barrier back in their deck, respecting the Kano.
Is it? I think
Then he goes away.
Like spell shield. What is the one where it's you don't have to pay?
Spell Void.
Spell Void is the name of the game now.
Yeah. There are cards to stop him from being good, typically. But they banned all the cards to draw cards, so that's the thing. Talking about bans.
All
Good for the game, though,
draw
right?
cards. Well, drawing cards.
I've heard it's great. Yeah, it is.
It's nutty.
It's usually good in card games, but in FAB it's very good. Because you have 4-card hands.
You shuffle those up. I can't shuffle very well because my thumb almost came off.
Yeah, you missed that earlier. You're not a blood guy.
No, I almost passed out.
What were you cutting?
Tomato.
That's why I don't eat tomatoes. Just kidding.
Could be your finger next.
You never didn't know what was tomato and what was,
Ew. That sucks, man. When did that happen?
A few days ago.
I like that you have enough going on in life that is not worth mentioning when we engage, but you got a lot going on.
Have a lot going on.
Mike asking if we're planning anything special for Sorcery's Arthurian Legends.
Yeah, man, we're going to be in Essen enjoying the heck out of that world premiere.
We're going to Germany.
right.
It's so special.
My hope is that we get to buy boxes and then just dive into it for the first time in person together at Essen. It'll be a good time. If you're going to be at Essen, definitely say hi.
Even I go first. Odd, you go first.
Sure.
Then we'll be at Sorcery Con on November 1st.
Can I have 4 of those things?
You're going
As well.
first. We're going to SorceryCon in Vegas as well. It's going to be a great time.
We're going to get lots of.
I'm going to put my health on this permanent that I start the game with.
Did you see Willie Nelson covered the Flaming Lips' Do You Realize?
I did not.
That's a surprise.
Didn't tell me you cut your finger. You didn't send me that video.
I know you're a huge Flaming Lips fan.
I'm just obsessed. And Willie Nelson. All right, let me read my cards. What's this do? Okay. Okay. Now we're cooking. How many cards are in your deck?
That's right. This is the Blitz
What?
Pre-Con, right?
I just.
It came with this really.
How
you,
many
a
cards
mill?
are in these decks? No.
Are you milling me?
I just need to know how many cards we have. Is it 40? It's got to be 40.
This is Blitz Pre-Con, right?
Yeah.
And it came with that amazing playmat.
Yes.
So good. So good.
Yeah, 40 cards.
So good.
I
As
believe it's
usual.
Upside down.
It's good upside down as it is right
It
side
really
up.
is, though. Look at this. Very good. All right. It's turn 1, so let's not do anything crazy now. All right. Okay. All right. I'm going to play a red strong yield. Can I have another die? Can I have a die?
What?
Can I have one of your die?
Yes.
So I'm playing this. It's an Earth Action Aura. Has go again, 1 cost. At the beginning of my action phase, I'll destroy this, and my next attack gets +3.
Cool. Okay, you're building up to the
We're gonna play another one.
What was that one now?
strong
red,
yield.
Red strong yield.
This seems like this is a really good opening for you.
Yeah, then I'll pass. Arsenal, over to you.
What is that?
Stephen, I believe you started at 18 health.
18.
Or Brett believes that, and I believe
Yeah, he can struggle to read sometimes.
Hold on. I got an action before the turn ends.
Okay.
Wizard.
That's so wizard.
Sigil of Lightning. At the beginning of your action phase, destroy, and then it'll create an embodiment. It's an instant. Feel me?
I don't think you can do that.
It's an instant.
But it has that keyword. I'm just kidding. Over to you.
Okay, now hold on. I gotta read my gear.
You're all up on my half of the board.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know where to put this.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, you can put it wherever you want, but not on my side of the board. Can I draw yet?
Destroy this, gain money.
Hey.
Destroy this amp one. Destroy this turn the next game. Okay.
Speaking of card game design tips, FAB does so many things on the money, right? And it's so subtle, but basic example of this. You draw cards at the end of your turn. So many games have you draw at the start. But if you draw at the start, you can't plan while your opponent's doing stuff. And you can't make decisions. So you have this moment where you draw and both of you are just sitting there because you're now having to rethink your entire plan. But the flow is very good here.
That's why Wizard playing on your turn is so great.
Yeah. Yeah. But at least you're still only really drawing your cards at the end of your turn. So you can mess with me on my turn. That's fine. But like right now, I can see my hand and actually be doing something.
Okay, is there an instant window? Oh, wait, I guess it doesn't much matter. Whoa. Okay.
Whoa.
We've got this. We've got this. We've got this. We've got this.
happening?
We've got this. We've got this. Okay. From the graveyard to your hand. Okay, check this out. At the start of the action phase, destroy this. Create an embodiment of lightning. Okay. Attack action. Wait a minute. Oh, it has to say attack on it. None of mine say attack on them.
Can you destroy it somehow? With one of your things? Didn't something you do destroy it?
Discard an instant. It's not an instant, is it? If you control an aura permanent with sigil in its name, I do not.
It was some card you were reading. Destroyed them.
Important to note that when the sigil breaks on your turn, you can react to that.
Before it's officially gone?
Mm-hmm.
Before it's officially gone, but I haven't played any lightning cards yet, so this wouldn't matter. But I could play lightning instants currently, like right now, and then play this, but I don't have any lightning instants. So basically, everything's working out just fine.
Wizard things.
Everything's working out just fine.
Now you can discard an instant to draw a card, right?
I can. I don't
Your chest piece can react.
You don't have attacks or?
I'm going to destroy this. I'm going to do it now. I'm going to destroy this to gain a money. Wait, hold on. Let's make sure that's right.
This is the ink-lined cloak.
Hold on.
Whew, that is a pretty card.
Do this.
Come on.
We play this. We play this.
Coat of many colors, man.
No, I don't want to do that now. I don't need that because you didn't let me block with anything. More than 2. That's not right. I can discard amp. Oh, well, you know, Zach. Amp 1, boom. Does more than 3, it gets go again, boom. And you don't have any arcane barriers, so you have to go through weird stuff to make this not
My
work.
Sanctuary of Aria
Okay.
is my... Oh no, I have to win very quickly.
What's it say?
No, just the idea that I don't have arcane barrier against a wizard. Oh, wait, hold on. I have my well-grounded boots. Instant, destroy this, prevent the next 2 damage that will be dealt to you this turn. Activate this only if there are 4 more earth cards in your banish zone.
Great. That's not true.
Can't do that yet. But who knows? Maybe I have a card that discards my hand. You feel like
I'm going to fry you. It's going to
you
get
had an attack this whole time?
2 instances of go again. It's already got go again. So
I see. That's a bummer. It's attacking for 3?
That's what it says.
How much life do you have left?
See, this is where like rule 0, I would just be like, I just want to play with somebody else.
Anybody with this guy.
It's not even about the format, is it?
I will not block.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're looking to have a big turn.
I mean, I got +6 on the board. Yes.
So you need it all. You need all of that. Well, that changes some things for me. I should put some pressure on her.
I feel like this hero would have been a little better if like every time you played 2 action cards, you got a free lightning token.
Uh-huh.
And you could also play lightning cards, of course.
Next up, how about a trailblazing Aether? Deal 3 arcane damage to target hero. It's an action, so we're gonna put it on the stack,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're not gonna pass. I don't pass priority yet. I'm gonna
maintain priority. That's when you know you've lost. Every time. It's like, okay, just tell me when I'm dead.
And what can you do to prevent arcane damage? I don't care, Zach. I really don't. I'm going to discard Photon Splicing. Discard Amp 1 the next time you would deal arcane damage. This is the next thing on the stack, this discard. Do you want to let this resolve, or do you want to play? I'm gonna pass now.
So you're amping 1. Is that right? You're amp 1ing.
Wait a minute. Am I?
What is happening? Did you pitch?
No, I don't have to. You discard it. Amp 1.
Instant discard amp 1. Yes. And how does amp 1 read? For the people out there that don't know.
The next time you would deal arcane damage this turn, instead deal that much +1. But hold on a second. What if we instead did it like this?
I think Kearney Moons has the right of it. The Acelio
Kearney Moons.
Mind Warper.
Yeah.
I'm going to play Photon Splicing, pitching a yellow instead. Because I realized I wanted an arsenal card.
So instead you're just doing more damage and saving a card.
Yeah, I'm going to deal 4 damage, but before this resolves, I'm going to
5
hold,
damage. Holy
I'm holding priority.
smokerinis.
I'm going to pay 1 to amp X, which is the number of lightning cards I played, which is currently 1 lightning card. So amp 1.
So 5 arcane.
That's right.
And I took this, so I should have lost 3. I'll take 5.
Great.
I think that was good.
All right, you took 5 there. That's 3 cards for 8. It's usually on the rate there.
It's a little under. But wizards have weird math. If you can do 8 at instant speed randomly, you're almost to your win condition.
Okay, well, there you go. First turn is a joy.
Okay. You let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready. I feel like I could have got that sigil back somehow if I was clever.
If you're a better wizard.
Yeah.
These both, at the beginning of my action phase, destroy them. My next attack is +3. So we got a +6 floating. How about that? All right. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to play a red Oath of the Arknight. So we're going to create a rune chant token. My next attack is +3.
Got it.
So I'm +9 on the attack stat.
Okay.
Then I'm going to play for my arsenal Splintering Deadwood. When this attacks or hits, you may destroy an aura you control. If you do, create a rune chant token. So here's what I don't know. This is +9, so this is 14. I played the attack, so the rune chant pops. You have 1 coming at you. Is this the weird timing where the 1 is already coming at you, but it hasn't resolved yet because it's the when this attacks, and I could destroy this or not? I know there's weird stuff going on with this.
Like, is it moribund?
So, like, I know with this Rising example, you play this thing and all your rune chants pop, and they resolve 1 at a time. And before they resolve, you have a chance to play instants or do weird stuff.
But they wouldn't then also get the damage, right, if you destroyed them?
But there's a weird card where you can both do the damage from them and then destroy them before they're gone to get a cost reduction. It's a
weird.
Hold on. Card is played before it is attacking. Rune chant pops on play. The rune chant resolves first because it triggers when you play the card. Yes, you can't do the attack trigger until rune chant resolves. Okay, so you have 1 arcane coming at you, and then you have a 14 damage attack coming at you.
Okay. The 1 arcane will go here. And then I have a bunch of...
just 14 damage. What could go wrong?
Okie dokie. I'm going to block 7. And my thinking is I definitely don't need 2 flashes.
That old gem.
And I can't afford almost either side of this card. I don't want to pay like, I don't want a 3-card 5.
Gotcha.
Which is what I'm looking at. So I may as well use the blacks here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So
Take
you're
7?
taking 7.
Yeah. Is there any hit effects?
No. Nothing you need to be aware of.
Okay. Where's my sigils? I feel like I need a sigil out. Everything I'm supposed to have a sigil out.
I'm gonna arsenal and pass.
Okay. I'll play Trailblazing Aether for 0. Deal 3 to target hero.
Straight up.
Mm-hmm.
1 second.
Colin, I can't play. Why in the world would I play 2 flashes with a 0-cost action card with Go Again that doesn't matter at all? That's like he's trying to drag me on that play. And it's like, y'all.
Okay, so you're doing 3?
I got beat by Tarek Patel in the first ever finals limited. I know enough. Yeah, you take 3?
Yeah.
It's card for 3, baby. It's as good as it ever was.
We're cruising now. Man, Runeblaze just keep being Runeblaze, don't they? All right, let's party.
How do I get a sigil?
I think you just draw it.
Okay. Well, I need to do that one.
We're going to play Malefic Incantation. 0 cost, Go Again. This enters the arena with 3 verse counters. Once per turn, when you play an attack action card, remove a verse counter from this. If you do, create a rune chant. So it's basically 3 rune chants. Once a turn, if I play an attack, I can get a rune chant. Then we're going to play Rune Ranger Swarm. Says, if you played or create an aura this turn, this gets Go Again. So attacking for 3. When I play an attack, I'll create a rune chant. So I've played an aura and created one. Just 3 with Go
That
Again.
doesn't pop yet, right?
Not yet, no.
3, not yet. Okay, 3 Go Again. Okay. Love it. Hold on, I gotta read my cards. Is there cost 1 or less, get +3. Attack action card, okay? So if I don't have an attack action card, this card is not good. But it might be good in the arsenal. So we're gonna hold on to that for now.
Hopes and dreams.
Man, this is the exact kind of deck that I would play. Because it seems like if you draw all your actions, but none of your attack actions, then a lot of your cards don't do anything. And the same is true of the inverse.
Yeah. So it's almost like a ranger.
It's like a ranger deck, yes.
Yeah, he just bask in it. Loves it.
It's perfect.
He just needs it to work once.
Okay, and you have no hit effects.
Not currently.
So I can't engage with the game much at all.
You can block for
I
3.
I can block. Each card you control would deal arcane damage turn and deals that much +1. Okay. So I can discard a card to give something +1. That's a card for 1.
That's and you can use your ability to get rid of a card and draw.
Yeah.
Because it's a once per turn instant, right? So you can do it on your turn too.
Okay. But this... Yeah, okay. I'm going to do that now. I'm going to do it now.
He's auxiliary now.
Discard electronic discharge. Electrostatic, I guess, is the... Hold on, I still need to read this in a big way.
I need to read this in a big way.
That's a nice art.
It's a moose. Is that a moose? A
I
reindeer?
could be right. I think reindeer is probably more accurate.
Yeah.
Moose is not as agile.
If this deals more than 3 damage.
I'm telling you, man. This set would have been devastating for my bank account.
Is this the 13th set? 14th? 13th?
Okay, this seems important.
I don't know that answer, actually.
Okay. So I can block this if desired. So my next turn, I'm going to go boom, and then boom, boom, pachow. Lightning card. And then, I don't know. That, okay, and then that's going to be that. And then when you may discard a lightning card, if you do return an aura to its owner's hand. So I could return your rune chant right now. So I could block 1 damage and return a rune chant to your hand, which would destroy it, right?
Mm-hmm. I think you should return this to my hand.
Oh, heck yeah.
I'm just kidding. It costs 0. It has Go Again.
Oh, okay.
I would just play.
Yeah, I guess you play it again. You refill it, don't you?
5-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Should if 1 Go Again,
Coming
destroy
up.
this, gain 1. Destroy this,
Isn't that
prevent
wild?
the next 2 damage
Yeah.
that would be dealt to you. Only if I played an instant card, which
Hey,
I've
man.
not. I've discarded an instant card.
Most TCGs don't make it to either of those marks.
I know. It really speaks highly of it.
Discard a lightning card. Oh, that's not good. Okay. Everything's fine. And I'm going to discard this. I'm going to block here.
Block for 3.
For 2.
Take 1.
Yeah. That's the rate I'm looking for. Card for 2 is the name of the game. All right.
Then I'm going to swing with my Rotwood Reaper, pitching a red and then a blue. So 2 floating. And
Does not go again?
it doesn't. So it's a Rune Chant for 1, and then a 4 damage attack coming at you.
All right. I'll take the 1.
Yep.
And it's a 4 damage attack.
Mm-hmm.
Ergo, we need to decide.
Do you remember? It's funny because I'm playing Earth Runeblade. I couldn't be more at home, and you're having to do.
No, I'm at home.
You're having to learn magic tricks
He's
over
at
there.
home. He's at home.
I'm at home. I've always
It's
been
just
at
like
home.
I'm
Ranger.
not. It's. I mean, this is about how it felt, but I just feel like my lines are just so what I'm used to all the time, and you're over there trying to make water out of. I don't even know.
Wait, how can you remind me how easy you have it defending arcane damage?
I have no arcane barrier. I have a Sanctuary of Aria that I can pay 2 any number of times to prevent X. Pay 2, pay 2, pay 2.
Okay, so you lose a card.
If I can somehow get 4 Earth cards banished, I have a Destroy, prevent the next 2.
Okay, so you have to pay for your prevention regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Understood. Okay. I'm gonna play it a little bit crazy then, because you're at 9 health.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take 4. That's the way we gotta.
Party on, Wayne. You're at 4.
Mm-hmm.
You have arcane barrier? Asking for a friend.
I don't know, man. I've got this sanctuary thing. I'm gonna destroy this. Give myself amp 1.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm. I'm listening. I promise.
Trailblazing Aether. Deal
Why won't
3
you attack me, Steven?
Deal 3 arcane damage. If it deals more than 3, it gets go again. It's currently coming in for 4, courtesy of amp 1.
Do you have any instants? You get the first chance. If
I do.
instant,
Yeah, I
you
do
get
get the
back
first
in.
chance. I know. I'm aware of how the game works.
I'm insensitive.
No.
Okay. What happens if you do 4?
I guys go again.
What?
Yeah.
How
More
many
than, if it does more than 3,
How many
right?
cards are in your hand?
2, 3. Okay.
Unfortunately. Oh, wait. Perhaps fortunately. You're at 4?
Wait. If you pay for prevention, can I jump on top of that and amp it more?
If you have the ability to amp it, yeah.
Or does the prevention happen after the damage is locked?
So
Is that like Arcane Barrier?
mine is an instant, and it's prevent the next one that I would be dealt.
Got it. Okay.
So if I paid for that and then you amped more, I could pay for it again
Okay.
because of the way this works.
That's convincing.
And we go back and forth until we're done.
Back and forth forever kind of thing.
James is asking you both to remember the Rosetta macro card.
See, I think that Loose Leaf is the judge and correct. I have to amp first.
Yeah, well, you have to
Nathaniel
amp,
says
but
that
if
as
I
well.
instant,
But you would just instant after this is resolved. Because it would say, okay, you're going to deal 4 damage. Then the next step is you say prevent the next 2. And by that point, I can't amp this anymore. The
people are saying
damage
amp is
is
up front.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
which
That
is
sounds good
tough.
to
That
me.
kind of changes everything.
All right, then.
Because I was going to play all sorts of tricks.
reconsider your life.
Alex says you can respond to the instant on Sanctuary.
That's what I thought. I thought you could respond to the instant on Sanctuary to amp again.
I don't think you can amp again.
That doesn't make any sense because amp says the next time you would deal arcane damage this turn, instead deal that much +1. So we're not at the dealing phase. And I have to do this before the damage because it says the next damage that would be dealt. Loose leaf saying you can respond to Zach's Sanctuary though, yeah.
Can I
Yeah.
respond to your boots and stuff too?
It's an instant. So I would think yes.
Okay, so I can amp in response to you preventing the damage
Mm-hmm.
and get more damage going. So we're not dealing yet. So 3 damage is on the stack. If it is dealt, it will be 4 damage.
And if it's 4, you have go again.
Do you have any? I'm passing the window stack to you, and if you don't do anything to it, you'll be dealt 4 instantaneous damage. Because Arcane Barrier is the prevention effect, that was the weird one. But this makes more sense. That's right, Lucy T.
I'm going to pay 2
Wow.
and use my Sanctuary to prevent 1.
I have a response.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
All right, so hold on. We're going to stack it up here. How did I get +1? Oh, here we go. Okay, so hold focus resolves. So that's here. Or are you responding to hold focus? It resolved. You didn't respond to it. So it's attached to Trailblazing Edge. This hasn't thing yet. So then we go here. I'm going to respond. No, I don't even need to respond here. You can have that. We'll lock it. You're preventing the next one. Okay, so that's here.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm coming in more. I'm going to play Sigil of Conductivity onto the stack, and it will go into play if it's allowed to resolve.
Okay.
I've got another response here. I'm going to pay 0 to amp 1 because I played Lightning Instant.
Mm-hmm. I'll pay 2 to do this again.
1 floating?
1 floating.
Well, we find ourselves in a bit of a stalemate.
Loose leaf. Now Steven's Auxilio gaming.
Okay, so wait. So I've spent 1 card, and you've spent 3 to prevent 2 damage? That's great math. Yeah, cool. Resolved. So currently amp 5, you're preventing the next 2?
Mm-hmm. Take 3.
Take 3. No go again. I lose 1. Put this in here. This is gone.
Okay.
And then I draw.
I'm going to take the action Rune Hold Release. Destroy this, create a Rune Chant token.
Okay.
Do you have any instants?
This chain link. Chain link. No.
Okay.
You're free to act.
I'm going to use Blood Torn Bodice. Destroy this, and an aura you control, gain a resource. I'm going to destroy this incantation. We're going to gain a resource. Am I good to carry on? Wizard.
All right, hold on. I'm looking for anything that says instant in it.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Nothing I can do right now is an instant. So it's okay. Yep.
I'm going to pitch to swing my sword. So 1 arcane and 4 physical coming at you.
1 arcane and 4 physical. Wait, 1 arcane. Okay, so that's going to pop this, which I need to pay attention to. So that's going to go there, and then 4 physical, and then if you return an aura you control to its owner's hand. Return an aura you control to its owner's hand. Okay, that's just mine. Oh. Okay, and the arcane happens first. Gain 1 if you control an aura.
Yeah, and this would prevent it unless you do something else.
Like unless I find a different way to prevent it.
That's right. Like if you wanted to keep the sigil out.
Which I do kind of want to do that.
Seems okay.
Okay. If you played an instant card, this chain link. But that's my only way to play an instant card. Okay, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Dealt to you this turn by a source of your choice. Destroy at the beginning of the end phase. Okay, so I can use my Sanctuary. I gotta ditch a card for that.
Card for 1 damage.
Well, but ultimately, it's okay.
I mean, it's 1 damage, and then it's at least 1 resource because you got to keep that thing out.
I'm doing it.
Okay. So you're preventing 1, which will prevent the enchant.
Does this how go again?
No.
Steven, is there a card called Twinkle Toes that might help your situation?
No, not really.
Okay.
It kind of would, but I haven't played an instant card this turn. And if I do play an instant card this turn to turn Twinkle Toes on, it's actually worse for me because I need this card to work. So it's kind of, I mean, yes, I'm probably doing it horribly wrong, but it's fine.
How we learn.
Sure. I'll prevent 1 and go down to 1. Yeah, that's how it goes, man.
I'm about to die.
I don't think so, you know? Okay. We're going to play Flittering Charge to create a chain link.
Do you have a sigil popping?
No.
Okay.
When now that I'm on a chain link, I'm going to respond to my chain link. Is that how that works?
You can. So you play that, and then you can play an instant.
I'll now play an instant Sigil of Forethought.
Okay, what's it do?
At the beginning of my action phase, destroy, and it creates a ponder. But it also says if I played an instant, I get go again. So it's a 0 for 4 go again.
Now that's a card. Okay. I will not block. Reactions.
None.
I have a reaction that's been stuck over here because you don't attack. I'm going to play Rootbound Carapace. Defense reactions can be played from your hand or arsenal to defend. Decompose. You may banish 2 earth cards and an action card from your graveyard. If you do this, gets +1 defense. So
You blocked the whole thing with that?
I'll go 2 and an action, blocking for 4.
Okay.
I need to get 4 earth cards over here.
Grats.
Blocked for 4.
Grats on Dong. Okay. That's all fine. And then I'm gonna instant destroy my Incline Cloak to gain a money.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna play Glyph Overlay for 1. It's gonna deal X plus 3. X is the number of aura permanents, which is 2. And I'm gonna respond to that first with this guy because I have the auras out. So I'm gonna do amp 1 because I played 1 lightning card this turn. And now we're gonna go to, is this okay to resolve?
No.
Well, you can let the amp resolve.
Hey, is this our promo?
Yeah.
I mean, not our promo version.
Yeah, it's like the greatest card. It's like crazy good.
I will play a Sigil of Sanctuary, instant speed. Has Arcane Shelter 1. If you would be dealt arcane damage, destroy this to prevent 1 of that damage.
Okay.
And then I will pass.
Okay. So then this happens.
Mm-hmm.
So we're currently at +1 here. We've got 2 sigils. So we're currently coming in for 6. You're preventing the next 1, putting you at 5.
5 damage, yeah.
Okay.
Does it resolve?
I'll resolve it.
1 to 1.
And then if this deals more than 3 damage, gain 1 life, then shuffle all aura permanents into their owner's deck. Sigil in their name into their owner's deck. Now, do I want that to... Yes. When this leaves the arena, I gain Ponder, and when this leaves, I gain an Embodiment of Lightning. Where are my Ponder tokens? They weren't in the pre-con.
They're right there. Flip it.
Oh, they're on the back. Shoot.
Shoot, dog.
So these get shuffled. You can play the instant after damage resolves and get go again 2. Okay, got that. Yeah. For Flittering Charge. Okay, so these go back in. I create a bunch of stuff. And then I gain a life. And you better watch it, because I can instant into your face at any moment.
How do you do that?
I don't know. It could be a card that says instant deal 1 arcane damage or something. Don't touch my cards.
I did it. Oh.
The viewership is holding steady.
People are enthralled, man.
I guess it's the suffering that brings people.
They love it.
They love the suffering.
All right, I'm gonna play Vantage Point for 7. If I had that aura that I had to play on defense, it would be 7 with overpower.
Wait, at the beginning of my end phase, I destroy this and draw a card, right? So that happens now. Like at my
before your arsenal.
Wait. Last turn, like
on your previous turn, you should have an extra card in your hand right now. Or no. Put it away. So you do it before you arsenal, but
you can't. You got to discard a card. Okay, so I would gain a card and filter.
If you had 0 cards in hand, you would get to put it in arsenal and draw 4.
But instead, I go to 5 and then discard 1. No, I don't. I just is lost. Got it. Okay, got it. It's hard. 7.
Yeah. So you do the ponder prior to actually the end phase steps of drawing your hand back up.
Do you have funny business? It's just 7, isn't it?
Presently?
Yeah, there's no funny business here. That's the wrong number. I mean, it's a fine number. It just is wasteful.
Yeah, you're gonna have to use that extra card. Give me 3, baby.
And Kermit, do you prevent the next 2 damage?
I need 4 earth cards.
You don't have that.
I don't.
So you could have another little weird sigil, but that's it. Okay. We're fine. We're fine. I'm gonna block for 6.
Take 1.
Take 1.
Call me in the morning. That life gain paid out.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I have fancy ways to be, and then I just have...
Would discarding and drawing help?
No, it would not, actually.
Dang.
Check this out. Boom. I'm just going to follow my heart. I'm going to pay 2 for Exploding Aether, amp 3. And then I'm going to pay 0 for Arcane Twinning. And do 6 Arcane.
I think he's cooked.
I mean, you don't have any, unless there's stuff I don't know about. You can't possibly block that.
You have any instants?
I haven't played any lightning cards. Nope. What?
Man.
You did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did it.
Arcane damage is brutal. I didn't do anything. My ability needs 4 earth cards over there.
Yeah.
Takes forever. And then you have to create road chance. He's probably very good in constructed. Or he's probably playable in constructed. I didn't really... You just need more time.
I wasn't even close.
Yeah. Cooked me. Although, if you hadn't gained a life, the 7 I sent would have had overpower.
What does that mean?
So I had the ability to play an aura into the 7, and the 7 says if you played an aura, it gets overpower, which means you're going to block with 1 card. So, or no. If you, I played the aura to save 1 damage.
Right.
If I could have saved that for my turn, then I would have.
Understood.
Or if I'd saved the chess piece or the gloves to create the rune chant, I could have created rune chant and just guaranteed overpower. But you live and you learn.
You can play the other team?
I'll play the other two.
Let's do the other team.
I just grab the equipment out.
We're still young.
I don't know about that.
Hey, y'all.
I'll let you pick this time. I'm gonna open this.
What are thoughts on Rosetta? Or should we do a quick sealed or something? We don't know enough to play sealed, do we? Or just want to open some packs?
Let's just open some packs. I like the open the packs game.
Okay.
That requires less of my brain.
Oh, did you not like playing Homework the card game?
Dude, some of this art. Summer's fall.
You know what's crazy? When you're in FAB, it's like,
ooh. It's one of those build the scenes that Steven loves so much.
When you're in FAB, it's like, yeah, the game's, of course, it's great. It's freaking incredible. It's smooth. It's easy. You're cranking turns out. It's not a big deal. When you step away for even like 3 months and you come back to it, you're like, how did anyone start playing this card game?
It's a glorious game when you're in. And it's a lot when you're not.
And to be fair, this is a far cry from Welcome to Wraith.
Well, the other thing is like your hero. I don't actually feel like my turns were relatively not crazy, but
that's why you lost.
When you're dealing with instants and you're dealing with arcane damage and all that, and the other part is there's a big difference between a precon blitz and a constructed deck you're obsessed with.
That's true. Yeah, you get good at it, but just thinking about a new player.
Yeah,
like if I introduced a friend and these were the blitz decks and they were like, oh, this Cecilia looks cool, they would die. They would fall over on the table.
Yeah. But
right?
the box warned you. Like, that was the most complicated deck.
It's true.
And I think it's good to have complicated decks for players that want that kind of a challenge.
Yeah, I can think of a friend who would do this and be like, okay, yeah, I actually want to figure out how to be good at this exact thing.
Yeah.
Is this yours?
Oh, yeah. It was my deck. So you should have the one paper pack that came in the pre-con.
So Danny was actually saying this earlier. He was saying that going to the world premiere or the pre-release without all of the cards spoiled was super, super fun.
Dude, it's the best thing in card games.
They did the thing this time where they had spoiler season, but it was only commons and rares.
Yeah, smart.
So Majestics and above were not spoiled prior to the premiere. And there's a lot of collectible things in this set, like marvels and foil rune chants, and even like the pieces of the different cards that, like that one that I showed.
It's good to see Autumn's Touch again in it.
A good
classic. Finals Fighting Spirit. I mean, come on, these are classic cards. Consuming Volition, Oath of the Arknight.
I've spent a lot of time looking at exactly those cards.
This seems good.
Heaven's Claws. Oh, Sigil of the Arknight. Marvel. Looks beautiful.
That's great looking, dude. That's all you need. So you don't need to spend any money on the set. You got it out of the Blitz
At the beginning
box.
of your action phase, destroy this. When this leaves the arena, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's an attack action card, put it into your hand. Yeah, that's good. It blocks 2.
Wow.
Well, people like that.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. I mean,
We did it.
The Marvels are a good thing. Cold foil Marvels. Sigil of Fane, though.
Do I get to keep that since I opened it?
Sure.
Whoa. Who wants it? I'll sell it right now on Discord. I'll make Zach bid against all of you.
Dude, look at this. Starfall. Lightning Runeblade weapon. Once per turn action attack, if you play a lightning card this turn, this card's attack gets +1 and go again.
Dude, 2 costs go again in the middle with 1.
1 costs 2 damage, go again.
And it's a lightning action. Would this be considered a lightning action once it's on the chain? Once it's resolved?
It is a lightning action, but this says you play a lightning card.
Okay.
So it doesn't work on itself.
Okay.
It's
Right.
a cool looking card. Channel the Millennium Tree. Trees.
Is that Travis Millennium?
Probably. Look at that card, though. That's a good looking card.
It's a good looking card. Is it kind of ironic to you that we open all these cards that are just basically illustrations of what we can see if we go outside?
I don't know, man. I've never seen a tree that looks like that. right? I'm right.
Why don't you be the change you want to see in the world? Just put some bulbs in your oak tree or whatever, and you're done. Call it the Millennium Tree. I'd go.
Yeah, but how often do you get to see it? Like this arcane twinning creature.
Apparently, we're doing quite well on the pack openings, by the way.
Oh, 2 packs, 2 chase cards, apparently?
Yeah, let's go, man. All you gotta do is stop playing FAB and your pulls get marvelous.
It was the secret all along.
Man, let me tell you, the difference between paper packs and these.
Paper is way better.
Oh
It's
my
unbelievable.
gosh.
Foil snuff out. Majestic. Look at that. We're cruising now. 153. That card is stonks.
When this hits a hero, you may destroy.
What card is that, Zach?
I struggled for so long as Viscerai.
What card is this?
Pay 1, snuff out. When it hits a hero, you may destroy an aura you control, probably a rune chant. If you do, they discard a card. Wow, that's so good. In like consuming volition, dang.
It's a 1 for 8 that blocks for 3. Are you kidding me, America?
It's technically a 1 for 7 because the rune chant isn't popping.
But the discard card is worth 3. And it's doing 5. So
But you have to pay 1 in rune chants.
Yeah.
So subtract the 5, it becomes a 4. This is a 7.
It's a 7.
It's a 7. Come on, I did.
But
FAB
also,
Foundation.
discard is like 3+.
You think it's
value.
better than 3?
Well, particularly because, yeah, it's very good. Oh, it's so good. Dude, this art is crazy.
I will forever love Red Autumn's Touch because it's just absolute funnies.
It also just takes me back to a very particular time in my life.
The great meta of Starvo?
No, the great meta of Tales of Aria Sealed.
Tales of Aria Sealed, World Premiere Vegas.
Starvo wasn't until the next Everfest.
But he used all these cards.
Oh, for sure.
That's why I remember.
That's just a blank space in my brain. PTSD. Check this out. Strength of 4 seasons.
Aim saying, can I request paper packs from Team Covenant? I don't like Japanese plastic packs. We would love it if they would send us the paper packs. But that is something we have zero control over.
Yeah, it just is what it is. Arcanic Spike. 2 for 5. If you've dealt arcane damage this turn, it gets +2. That's not bad either. Blocks 5.
Didn't gain 1.
I pulled over 6 packs. I'm planning on opening 6.
By the way, Arya, remember the world premiere Arya? How cool that was?
I do. I remember people screaming when they opened the Corsham tree.
So
And it was like the foil multi-element cards. You remember those? The cold foils in the packs like that for the first time?
I can't open these.
It's hard. And you have your thumb.
Yeah, my non-functional thumb is
I like
really
this
problem.
art. Sigil of Deadwood.
Send help. Turns out it's still fun to open packs.
Always.
Activating. Look at that. That's the okay. So on the back of the sanctuary cards is the scenes. Is that
What?
that-
Oh, really?
The tokens give you the.
That's cool.
Okay.
Check this out. Foil Tongue-Tied. I don't really care what it does. It's 3/7 generic, blocks for 2. When this hits a hero, turn a card in their arsenal face up, then banish an instant card from their arsenal. But look at that art. Real creepy. Some creepy
Ooh, a
stuff
generic
going on.
3/7. I love those things.
Yeah. Limited. It's like, yes.
Oh, so they have an instant in their arsenal, but
Just a 3 for 7 and limited is awesome.
they'd also usually just play the instant. I guess that's kind of the point. Because it's not going to be doing a lot if they do that, is it? Do you like the little earth lightning symbols printed on the back? Or on the...
I would say I'm neutral on it.
I kind of get it. It's an easy way to say this is a lightning card.
Yeah.
That's helpful, because we ran into that at Aria Premiere for sure, where it was like,
What is?
it has
And-
ice on it, but it's not an ice card.
And there are cards that you would think are an element that aren't. Adult version of Aurora. This is the Lightning Runeblade. 1 return instant. Pay 2, create an embodiment of lightning. Activate only if you play a lightning card this turn. That's nice.
Have you seen Hit the High Notes?
Yes.
Like, that is-
Runeblade card?
That's insane for this. It's a 1 for 6 in red, I assume?
Yeah. So I tried to play a Reaping Blade 1-cost sword build early on for a long time. Like I played a lot of that. And you would play things like Meet and Greet and Consuming Volition. And it always, even more recently, trying to test the 1-cost builds, it was like they're 1 or 2 attacks short of really making this a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this set, people kept tagging me in Viscerai channels. He was eating well.
But does it get boring if he becomes the meta deck?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. We can never win.
This art's awesome. Sigil of Temporal Manipulation.
Arcane Polarity is a nice little anti-arcane damage card.
Look at that.
That's very cool. Oh, we're gonna build it.
Arcane Polarity is what?
It's a great anti-arcane damage card. I assume the red is if you've been dealt arcane damage this turn, gain 4 life for 0.
Yeah, it is.
So a card for 4 on red. That's pretty good. That's a cooler sideboard than some other things that you might
I like that too because it doesn't stop the arcane from happening. So any of the arcane, if you've dealt arcane, triggers still happen.
Yeah.
And you also have to have enough life to live to play it.
That's right.
So that's a fun area to design in. All right, let's be the end of my packs.
Wow. Here's
Gotta
a
cut
calming
myself
cloak.
off
That's a
somewhere.
good Majestic. Illusionist equipment. Whoa, it's Illusionist, but they're not even in the set. Good for them. Pay 1, destroy. The next aura is -2, and then Arcane Barrier 1.
Are
Very
they in the
nice.
set? They might just not have been in the starter.
These are all the
That's the starters.
It's Wizard and 2 Runeblade. 2 Wizards, 2 Runeblades.
I don't think this is the same art. That's the Aurora art. $5.
We get to have a puzzle too. Here's the normal Ascension of the Arknight for reference.
If you were choosing one or the other, which one do you think you'd pick?
Waste of time. Is this blue? Is it only ever blue?
It's blue. You can see the 3
Got it.
pips up here.
That's why they did that.
It might. I don't know. It's rare. Usually the rares are. Can you pull up Sigil of the Arknight? It should default to red if it exists. If not, it'll be blue. It's blue.
And blue. Expansion slots. Yeah, so those are expansion slots. They give other classes cards
Gotcha,
in the
cool.
packs now. Very cool. So even if you're just playing limited, you can still maybe hit your constructed stuff, which is nice.
The expansion slots. Good answer to the previous Everfest style set release. Making every set be limited draftable is correct.
Oh, what a fascinating card. Count your blessings. Gain X life where X is 3 plus the number of count your blessings in your graveyard. So the first is 2 for 3, the second is 2 for 4, the third is 2 for 5.
And then you could have a bunch of them in your deck.
And it's an instant.
That art is nice. Good interpretation of light.
Use of the Forest. Discard gain 2. So there is a ton. This set has a ton of stacky, back and forthy, do I die.
And it's giving instant discard effects to non-wizard classes. Lets you have a little more game into them than
Yeah.
normal.
But they know the rules better than you do.
Oh, for sure.
So you lose even though you didn't need to.
Wizard's a class for people that like to read the rules or understand them.
Zach tacitly admitting, I read them.
Yeah. Rules are more of an abstract concept to me, you know? It comes with some upsides and downsides.
There's some good. A little drink them under the table. Foil Majestic there. Betsy specialization. When this attacks a hero, you may wager with them. The winner draws a card, and the other hero discards a card. It's a 4 for 8. That seems like it's gonna be a great card. Ooh,
Blocks 3.
Feetsies.
All right. Last pack magic.
Ooh, yeah. See, Blackenstein. That's exactly it. Fatigue Florian reached top 4 with 9 count your blessings. All right. Sometimes you miss it, and sometimes you remember fatigue exists.
Yeah. Fatigue's not my bag. It's kill 'em. Kill 'em's my bag.
My bag is kill 'em. Okay, let's
Come on, give me the heat. Give me the heat.
We've already got plenty of heat, man. I don't think it
You
gets
pulled a
better.
Marvel.
Yeah.
You did enough.
And I understand the meld cards because it's like the
I
next
get it.
cards you play and all that
I
kind
get
of
it.
stuff. You know, it's playing with the concepts.
If you're, I feel like if you're really deep into FAB, or you've been designing it, or you've been playing it, or whatever, it would probably be like, oh, awesome, there's new layers here.
Yeah.
But just from a very casual, like outsider, see it for the first time, it's like that's a lot going on.
How do you compare it to flippable or double-sided cards? You know, the ones that fold. and then unfold.
It's
Is
better
it
than that.
Is it better than that?
Yeah. The problem with folding cardboard is eventually it's going to break.
Okay.
It's only got so many in there.
That's true.
Um,
Meld cards never break.
and I probably like it. I don't know, like double-sided cards, like cards that flip. I really didn't. That was going on last set with the Mist Veil stuff. Flipping a card in a sleeve mid-tournament is strange to me, and I would fall prey to like forgetting to flip it back, and that's gonna have all kinds of like, just not a great scenario. But there's just something weird about the like tininess of it.
Yeah,
it feels like those token cards that in
sorcery.
I
like that curio. That's the 9 little card.
Like fold this in half, and it's like, I have a little mini card.
And what's weird too is they actually did that with the actual tokens. So hopefully nobody is like just going through and they're just like, I guess I'll
fold
just
this in half.
make these tokens. Well, cool, man.
But
we got the main shot, John. Whenever you're ready.
This, you give me the main shot, yeah. This is why you fab right here.
I did it.
Look at this thing.
Actually, I would say that's not why you fab at all.
I don't know.
It's really a game for like players.
Yeah. Like, I would be. How have the melded cards been received? I would bet that like top competitive people that play all the time, FAB players, are totally cool with it.
Yeah,
and it's
easily.
like there's just another layer that I get to like engage with.
Break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, who's the pessimist now?
Well, hey, thanks y'all so much for sticking around.
Yeah, we will not be streaming next week. We'll be at Essen. If you're at Essen in Germany, definitely say hi. We'll give you a high five.
Germany.
And enjoy. If we don't see you and you're a sorcery player, enjoy the heck out of it. I cannot wait. I love how little is known. I think we know 25 cards out of 200-300.
Did you see the Merlin that got previewed?
I did, unfortunately, but also fortunately.
It's so good. It's so fun.
Yeah.
So we're going to Germany. That's just awesome. We're just going to do Germany things too, not just Essen, but like we're just going to get to hang out in Germany.
That's right.
Maybe find some beer to drink.
I hear they make it there.
Yeah. So we'll see you in Germany. Thank you guys for being here. And we will not see you next week.
But we should see you the week after if you were so inclined.
Should see you the week after. And you said we're probably doing Alpha Clash, and we'll talk about Essen and Sorcery and all of that, I'm sure, in the same
And we'll see how much jet lag is setting in, because you're not getting back at least till the immediate day before.
I'm taking advantage of my international travel and stretching it as long as possible.
The flight home is way friendlier, though.
Yeah.
Because like you take off in the afternoon, you're home before midnight, and it's like, okay, great.
Yeah.
It's still the same day.
I can sleep on a plane pretty well, too, if I've got the neck pillow.
The flight home, you don't even sleep if you don't want. Because you leave at 3 in the afternoon, and it's like a longer day, but then you get home and it's midnight and you're supposed to be asleep. It's the other direction that's a pain.
Yeah.
Because we leave at 3 in the afternoon and land at 10 in the morning.
Ooh,
it's like,
that is a pain.
When do I sleep in this chain?
Yeah.
You almost have to sleep on the plane.
Okay.
So, anyways, Godspeed.
Yeah, thanks, y'all. Take care. We'll see you next time.